Welcome to the NFL training camp special. We are back this week. We are joined by Ben and Mason. You know who I am. And we got a jam-packed NFL episode for you, all NFL, as training camp has officially begun for all 32 teams. Um, and we're going to kick things off with what player is under the most pressure this upcoming season, and we're going to start with you, Ben.
All right, so I have three categories for this. One by pressure by ownership, two by the media, and three by the fans.
Okay.
I think media is without a doubt Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's going to a brand new environment, and he's been great in Green Bay, and people have always blamed it on somebody other than him. He's going to a team that's got weapons on the offensive and defensive end, and if he doesn't perform, they're going to be all over him.
Yep.
And when it comes to fans, I think it's Justin Fields.
Mm.
The Bears fans think he is the second coming of Christ. If he doesn't show that this year, it's just it's not going to go well for them. When it comes to coaches, there's a lot of options, a lot of young QBs. If I'm looking at Brock Purdy, looking at what's the Green Bay quarterback's name?
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, guys like that, just younger guys that are still trying to find a spot. I don't know. There's no one really star players that might get cut or might lose playing time, in my opinion. So that's my list.
Well, maybe not stars, but like a quarterback who's probably on his last leg will probably be Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I agree.
If he doesn't perform, he's pretty much done, and I think he will be done after this year because Tampa's going to be a bottom three pick. They're going to be in the Caleb Williams, Drake May sweepstakes wherever they fall. So, Mason, we're gonna go with you next.
Okay, so I got two different directions I want to go with this. So first off, I'm gonna just say this a player. The second one's a little bit more abstract. So first, to me personally, and I feel like to many other people, not even necessarily that they want him to do well, but I feel like definitely Deshaun Watson. You know what it's gonna be. He gets a full chance this year. We know he knows how to handle balls just off the field. We got to see what he can do on the field.
Okay.
You know,
All right. All right.
because it seems like he's been worried about the wrong type of touchdowns. But this season, we can see if he can go and lead this Browns team. And I'm just interested. I'm interested to see if he can go in one with Amari Cooper there to be able to utilize Amari Cooper now that he has that, being able to lead the wide receiver core with them. Obviously, he has other offensive weapons, and the defense isn't that bad either. I feel like the Browns could definitely be a playoff team. I don't know about like Super Bowl and all that, but definitely playoffs. Like,
They will be in the hunt. It's a tough
yeah,
AFC, but they'll be in the hunt.
yeah. On paper, they have almost everything that you could really ask for. It's just Deshaun Watson was playing like he didn't know how to play football when he got back on the field.
Yeah.
Personally, I hope he sucks, but I feel like he's definitely under a lot of pressure. And to see if he can ever get back to that, almost like, because back in his prime, he was like top five conversations, like up there. Like he was really good.
Yeah.
So separating the off the court stuff, not off the court, off the field stuff, I know he was a good player, and I'd like to see I like seeing good ball being played, but I do know he's under a lot of pressure coming back and getting to play this full season through. And then for my more abstract thing, and I guess I can narrow it down to a player, I'll say as a representation of it, I'll say Saquon Barkley with the new deal he just got. But overall, the running back position as a whole,
Yeah.
I feel like the running back position right now is like crazy under fire, which we've been seeing. So many running backs are not getting offers. What isn't Josh Jacobs like? I don't know what his situation is going on right now.
So Josh Jacobs is sitting out. I saw a report that Jonathan Taylor has not reported to training camp. There's a lot of stuff. Austin Eckler's upset because he requested a trade
Yeah.
because he wasn't going to get a deal, but that's not
Yeah.
been done yet.
So yeah, 100%. The running back position as a whole is like under big fire because lots of teams are realizing this position might not be as valuable as we thought. And I feel like there's definitely many different factors that can lead into that. And it's ironic Austin Eckler's brought up because I was just watching something that narrowed it down to him as one of the big things that showed this. But all these other running backs that are getting in that are like undrafted guys, any type of guy, the running back position seems to be the most plug and playable position, and lots of people are like, unless you're like a Derrick Henry, where you're obviously like on a whole nother like other people just aren't messing with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like even a lower top 10 level back, not even lower, Saquon Barkley is like probably top three, like
Top three, top
top
five.
five at the least, top five at the least, and he's still in questions of like if you're gonna get contracts. So I guess at this point, unless you're like basically the best and been the best for a while, who knows? So now I'm looking at the running back position as a whole. All these other guys, like the Aaron Joneses of a world, like good running backs. What's their contract situation going to look like? I feel like this year with Saquon Barkley just getting that big contract or just a contract in general, he's going to have to show that running backs are still worth giving contracts. So I think if he goes out there and like gets injured or just like a bust with this new contract, like the Zekes and Todd Gurley's of the world,
Uh-huh.
the running back position may be in trouble. I don't know.
I think something that this running back like sweepstakes is gonna cause is that you're gonna see running backs like Barry Sanders who just stay with the team because that one team is the only team that's gonna pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, loyalty to the fan base still means something. You want to please your fans, and most fans like their running backs if they're being successful.
Right.
You're going to see guys that are going to stay with teams because that's where the paycheck is, and it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to go to a bigger market because that bigger market's going to give you half of what you're going to get at the team that drafted you.
Right.
I think that's
Isn't
gonna,
Dalvin Cook still in free agency right now?
Yeah, Dalvin Cook's still in
Yep.
free agency. Ezekiel Elliott is still in free agency,
Mm-hmm.
and he just left probably the biggest football market to make money at.
mm-hmm,
So,
got replaced.
and then also remember Le'Veon Bell. He sat out.
Mm-hmm.
He sat out that 1 year. Went to free agency. Went to the Jets, which is a bigger market. Got the money, but he regressed since that moment, and it was
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for these running backs because like the running back prime is so because the running back is the one position on the field besides like the O and D, besides like the line that isn't protected still. Running backs are still getting like demolished all the time, and as athletes are getting stronger, faster, and better, they're gonna continue to get hurt, stuff like that, until we can find a way to protect them more. But now we're getting all these like basically like running backs now, like the Alvin Kamara's and Austin Eckler's, who are just like catching passes.
Yep.
At some point, teams are gonna be like, "What's the point of getting a running back if I can just have like a Tyreek Hill or somebody just like or a Debo Samuel who will just like catch a short pass and just rack after that, like get the extra stuff." What's the point of a running back? If I know with the short pass, I'm guaranteed to get something more than likely. Like I'm way more likely to get this to hand it off to a guy and just trying to like run it up the middle or something like that. What would be the point of still paying these guys? And I think that's what's going on. So we're either going to get into an era of like where the running back position might just get like extinct, or it's going to be drastically different. We're not going to have so many of like the big, strong like goal line backs as much unless it's like on the goal line, and probably just like people were just built like slot receivers basically. So I'm really interested in seeing how this goes. I always liked running backs just from a viewer perspective, but I do understand why owners might be a little bit scared because running backs, they're just so injury prone, and when you're looking to pay a guy like that, it's like, am I going to give him a long-term deal if once they turn 28 their hamstrings might just fall off? Like I don't know.
I mean, I think like two things are going to happen with that. Either one, we're going to see, like you said, a bunch of hybrid running backs like I can't think of names this morning. The 49ers running back,
Christian
Josh
McCaffrey.
Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey. There you go. Guys like him that can catch passes, they can get out in like a wheel route and make plays, or use receivers, and someone like Tyreek Hill is going to get blown up on a jet sweep. They get a concussion, be out for the season, and they're going to realize, hey, great idea, because, I mean, you're putting 180-pound guys, 215-pound guys against the big boys up front, and that's not going to work. And get hurt eventually. So I think, I mean, if they can run away from them fast enough, they'll be fine. But until then, serious.
Yeah. Also, along with that, we do bring up Alvin Kamara. He is on the watch list to get cut because his production has slipped. And
Yeah.
he is dealing with his own situation because he had a battery charge and he could be suspended if it ends up that way.
Who's the other running back on the roster right now?
The Saints?
Yeah, do we know? I can check.
I don't
I
have a
can't
single
see.
clue.
Yeah, I
Here,
can't
I'll,
see.
I would think
I'll bring it up. I got it.
Okay.
I'll put Taysom Hill back there. Tell him to figure it out.
at this point.
Yeah, he's their
But
starting
yeah,
tight end. Even though they just, for some reason, they signed Jimmy Graham out of retirement. Don't get
hmm.
that, but
Um, they got Eno Benjamin.
Hmm.
yeah,
This is still training camp roster, so we don't know how many of these guys.
yeah, that's true.
They got Alvin Kamara,
Uh huh.
and they got Ellis Merriweather.
Never heard of him.
And that's the problem because that Ellis Mayweather or Merriweather or whatever his name was, he might come in and just like become a top 10 back randomly, and that's what these owners are looking at. And it's like,
Time out. They have Jamal Williams.
oh
Oh
yeah, they
yeah,
sure did.
yeah.
We forgot about
I
that.
forgot about
Yeah,
that. The
yeah,
NFL rushing touchdown leader last year.
Yeah.
How could I forget that?
he
All
got
right.
traded
So
right
no.
away,
So yeah, Alvin Kamara's career's over. Let's be real here.
Yeah, that
He
it's,
done.
and that's sad too. I love Alvin, but yeah,
I don't
he's
love
coming
him.
up on
I like him.
that 30 mark, isn't he? He's coming up on 30.
yeah,
What is he like?
he's about
28,
20. Yeah, I think about
27?
28. I believe. Let me
And
see.
that's about that time for running backs. Derrick Henry being this old, still
Yeah, come off
doing
the
as good as
beach.
he's doing,
Yeah.
Alvin
is
Kamara's
crazy.
28. Derrick Henry's 29, turning 30. I think in like 2 months or some shit.
Also,
Mm,
Jamal Williams is also 28.
dang.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem 28.
No, he doesn't because
He seems a lot younger.
yeah. Also, uh, you speak about running back primes. Honestly, a running back prime starts as soon as they get drafted, which is pretty sad because normally you see the best out of the running back once he come out, and then it's time for contract year. That's normally when you see the best out of them. And the only ones that we're seeing that are like kind of anomalies are Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. He did have his injury issues, but
Hmm.
he's got to it. Nick Chubb is up there too.
How old is Nick Chubb?
I think Nick Chubb's about 20. He's 26. 27.
Okay, that's not
Well,
too
he's
bad.
27.
27.
27.
27.
Mm.
So could we see with like Cabron what you said, how their prime is from when they're drafted,
Right.
their contract years. If they're not paying them at their contract years, could we see running backs staying in college? Like if they get
Yeah.
drafted by like a team that they know does not have money to pay them at a contract year, they're going to be making millions in college now with NIL.
Yep.
I mean, we saw with the baseball draft, guys opting out of $500,000 because they know that they're going to make even more
Exactly.
in college. So I'd be curious to see. Are we just going to see guys say, "Hey, like you know, you use your pick on me, but no, I'm going to stay at college. I'll get drafted next year by somebody else," and that's it's a
Yeah.
possibility.
They did say because I don't see a lot of junior or sophomore running backs coming out the draft so easily. Normally they're coming out at 22 years of age. So, and I think that in as far as this is going, and I don't know when the next CBA arrives. I think it's like 2029. So the running backs are going to have this issue for the next 5 6 years.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Uh, I actually did not answer the question of who's under the most pressure. Um, there's many names to me, but a name I'm gonna bring up is Josh Allen.
Mm.
Okay.
Um, now last year I'm not as critical as the fans have been because I know he did tour his UCL in mid-season, and it had a lot to do with like the slip off in his production. But you are now the Bills. They were heavy favorites come out last year. Almost everyone had them coming out the AFC, including myself. Um, and they did not come out of the AFC. And the road just got a lot tougher this year because now Trevor Lawrence has arrived. Aaron Rodgers have entered the AFC. Joe Burrow is still right there. And then the boogeyman, Patrick Mahomes, is waiting for you. So Also, the AFC East, you got tough luck in your own division. There's
I was about to say that.
there's three teams who could win it, who could win that division. You got the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins. So you're gonna have to step up. So if honestly, if there was a year where he wins MVP, it would have to be this year because the role for him, because the storyline, it kind of matches up with him because he's now beginning to become the more forgotten and the underrated quarterback now with the arrivals of these new guys. So you got to be careful.
Um, how much media attention do you think he gets this year with Aaron Rodgers there, Russell Wilson needing a second season, Deshaun Watson full time, Bengals there, Chiefs there, Lamar Jackson back?
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Florida QB who's going to be starting for the Colts.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he's going to be starting for the Colts. I mean, what is?
C.J. Stroud is going to be there, but he's going to be a Texan, so
Well, that don't matter. I mean, sure. No.
yeah, that's true. I
Also,
mean,
okay, Brad, you gave three teams to win the AFC East.
three teams.
Patriots.
Yeah, I mean,
They had 16 or 17 guys on the IL to start the year last year. I mean, and that's Bill Belichick. I know Mac Jones is not a special talent, but you can never count out New England.
nah, I am the team. It's a huge significant drop for like the third best team in the AFC East and the Patriots. There's no there's no true wide receiver one on the team. Who is it? Jacoby Myers or Juju Smith-Schuster? I can't trust that.
That's true.
Your offensive line is regressed. Your quarterback has a very low ceiling. You do have Ramondre Stevenson, who I like, but defense is solid. Of course you
And
got,
they're getting
of course you got the greatest coach of all time, but
and they're getting guys back in the secondary too that they just didn't have for all of last year.
also they did draft Christian Gonzalez, who was a steal in the draft. I definitely give you that. But like the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets, they all have something special. The Patriots don't have that. The Dolphins have probably the most explosive offense. They legit have a track team with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert at running back. They have track stars. If Tua can stay healthy, they'll definitely be dangerous. Then you got the Jets. They just added Aaron Rodgers. They had the worst quarterback production coupled with a top three defense. So if you just get average quarterback play, you make the postseason, to be honest. And I don't trust Aaron Rodgers giving average quarterback play with the weapons that he has available to him. And then, of course, you have the Bills. Josh Allen, probably biggest arm in the league. Stephon Diggs, top 5 to 7 receiver in the league. They just added Dalton Kincaid from Utah to add with Dawson Knox. You just can't leave out that offense either. They have something explosive. They have something special. The Jets have something explosive. They have something special. The Dolphins have something explosive. They have something special. New England is just it's plain.
They're meh. They're meh.
They're
But I
meh.
mean, you can. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go out there. They're going to win 13 games, win the NFC or the AFC East. I'm saying they could beat a couple teams, ruin some postseason dreams, maybe sneak in there as a 6 or a 7. You never know. Don't count them out. Bill Belichick is. It's like with the Mike Tomlin Steelers. No matter how bad that team is, they're over 500 single year. So I mean, can't throw a team out with a really good coach.
I mean, I definitely give you that. I mean, I have the Steelers going 9-8 again, but they're not making the postseason.
Who are your postseason teams, Gabriel?
In AFC, I have Chiefs number 1 seed, I believe. I have I believe whoever I have the AFC North. The Bengals number 2 seed winning their division. I have the Bills at the 3 seed. They're gonna win the division. Then I have the Jaguars winning the AFC South 4 seed. 5th seed, I believe I have the Jets. I have the Ravens, and as the seventh seed, ah,
You got Chargers, Dolphins,
Chargers. That's the one.
Browns, Chargers.
That's the one.
So you're gonna leave out Tua. You're gonna leave out
Yep.
Deshaun. You're gonna leave out Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's out. It's a tough AFC. It's a tough
It is a really
AFC.
tough AFC. I'll give you that.
I mean, there could be a 10-win team in the AFC that does not make the postseason. It's pretty tough.
Yeah. Huh?
That's
Also,
all.
just real quick, I'm just going through news right now. Did you guys see that Bronny James news?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
somebody
personally
sent that
saw
to me.
that. Prayers up to him and to
Mm-hmm.
LeBron and the family. Um, it. I can't even imagine how it is. I can't even imagine the pain LeBron and the family's going through. That just has to be so horrifying, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
was left speechless when I saw that post by Shams. I was like, wow.
I feel like to me, that's the type of thing that like that's a one post type of thing. Then you leave it alone. Like that don't need attention. Like that's somebody's life that we're dealing with. You don't need to blow that up into a media scheme.
Yeah.
Just post it. Like let people know so there's not rumors going around and like oh he died and stuff like that going on, and then just move on because like to keep posting like I've seen 5 or 6 posts already,
Yeah.
multiple by the same organization. And like that's just like I mean that's a kid's life. I mean you just leave it alone.
Right.
Yeah, the sick thing about that other stuff, and it's so unfortunate. Like, and I hate to say like the timing of it and whatnot, because obviously there's never a good time for any of the stuff to
Right.
happen. But with it being the off season in almost every single sport, every like major sport that I be seeing, then my media outlets cover specifically like the NFL, NBA,
Right.
that I really see those type of things. I'm not really sure how baseball works and all that. That's not really my avenue. But especially with those two things being out, there's no real news. They will report on anything. So the
Mm-hmm.
sick thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm seeing like Stephen A. Smith talking about it one day or something like that. And that type of stuff, that's like the media gets so soulless at some point where I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Stephen A. did actually talk about it, but it was nothing of like it was nothing negative really. He was just like
Well,
sending out prayers and
obviously, I
stuff
don't
like
think
that.
it's like a negative thing. If it's just like, okay, we're sending out prayers, yeah. But like doing all this like extra stuff, as I know social media always
Yeah,
will.
because the anti-vaxxers are already at work, and they believe it's a result of
Mm.
that.
Oh, brother.
Oh
Yeah.
no, but just like for reference, there are 5 posts between ESPN and SportsCenter combined already about Bronny James. Just like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that seems kind of, yeah. That type of stuff is always just overdoing it.
Yeah.
But that's just like with celebrities or public figures in general. They do not treat them like human beings. It's really weird. But I guess it's just how the industry works. They got to make their money, so it's whatever. But of course, praise out to Bronny. You never want to hear about anybody
Right.
ever like collapsing or anything like that. That's super scary. You gotta feel bad for it because they said it was on the court, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They said during practice yesterday,
Yeah. So like his teammates, his
the
family,
wife, all that.
obviously,
Yeah.
like all that type of stuff, you gotta take into account. All the people close to him, like that could be a traumatizing experience. Seeing like
Yeah.
somebody you consider your brother or is actually your brother
Hmm.
in that type of situation. So of course, prayers out to the Jameses, his friends, family, all those type of people, and of
Yeah.
course him.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, there was some other big news, some college football news that just came in about a few minutes ago. Jim Harbaugh could be suspended for the first 4 games.
what did he do? Was it the fight last year?
No recruiting investigation.
What? How do you break the recruiting rules at this point? Like, what is there to? Would you buy them a house?
I get it has to be that. I don't know.
You can. Oh wow, that's something.
Yeah, I'm gonna look through here. See Yahoo's report. That's who it came from.
Hmm.
Let me see what we have. So here it is. So Dan Wetzel of Yahoo Sports reported in January negotiations between the two parties broke down because Jim Harbaugh has refused to sign any document or publicly state that he was ever untruthful with the enforcement staff. So, I
So,
believe so. I believe that this is a problem between Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA. That's what I'm guessing.
so this is an issue from the past. So it's not like he was going out and hurting players this off season with like what you can do to break the rules anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what this is. Um,
All right, then. I mean, I don't
also,
mind it.
I'm going to recheck Michigan's schedule, see if this affects them to a degree. Let me see. They kicked the season off with Eastern Carolina. I mean, come on now.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one right there.
Yep.
Nail biter, some would say.
Oh, get out of
Yeah, they
here.
play absolutely nobody.
They'll be fine. They face UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers, and he returns against Nebraska.
That's why it's a 4 week
That's why I said
suspension,
four
kid.
week
Because
suspension. Yep.
then they play a decent Nebraska team.
With Matt Rule
Uh,
at on the road as well. On the road as well.
mhm.
So.
Decent Minnesota team, good line there on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana with off and on quarterback play Michigan. Wow, they play. Jeez.
Michigan has a very easy schedule. Uh,
Yeah. I
it,
mean,
it
they're playing their side of the Big Ten, but like
it's easy, but
they should go into Ohio State undefeated this year.
well, I
Don't,
would
don't.
I would not sleep on Penn State. I would not sleep on Penn State.
I'm gonna sleep on Penn State. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna wait for them to play Ohio State. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, okay.
But what's dumb is that Penn State game should kick off 8:10 Eastern time, and it should be a whiteout. And instead, because college game, they want to make their money, it's at 11, and
Yep,
that's taken away. That's taken away one a huge chance for Penn State.
yep.
That's the best environment in college football, the whiteout. And two, a really cool moment for us as the fans and people watching the game with the whiteout going on. So I'm disappointed in that, and hopefully there's a petition for it to change. It might go through, but hopefully it does because looking forward to that. But
Honestly, the ESPN, they're just not gonna do that.
I know
We
I can
all
have
know
hope.
we all know ESPN. They love to make their money. I mean, just look at the bowl season. Almost every bowl game is aired on ESPN with a sponsor. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, they make that money off that.
They're gonna make money. They're gonna make their money. So we're going to move on. Uh, what is next? So likeliest to return to the Super Bowl: the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Philadelphia Eagles. Mason, let's start with you.
I mean, I'm not gonna waste any time here. I mean, it's the Chiefs for me. I don't know. The AFC is tough, but like, it's Patrick Mahomes at this point. Like, you'd kind of be dumb to just be like, at this point. It's getting to a point where it's kind of just getting expected for them every year. I don't care who they have. I don't care if they have me out there wide receiver at this point. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna get to at least the championship game, but the Super Bowl is basically Super Bowl or bust for the Chiefs like every year at this point. When you're like someone who's on a GOAT trajectory or a GOAT conversation trajectory like Patrick Mahomes is, and you'd be just delusional to say he isn't on that type of trajectory right now in his career. Those are going to be the expectations you have, and I am no different than a casual fan, bro. It's Patrick Mahomes at this point. The AFC can be tough, but he just finds a way to do it. Patrick Mahomes on the best quarterbacks in the league is Patrick Mahomes. Second best is Patrick Mahomes on one leg. We saw it last year. It's just him. It's just him. I'm not going to overcomplicate things. Shout out to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I think they'll still be very good this year. I still probably have them as favorites out of the NFC, but yeah.
Yeah. My pick is actually the Eagles because I'm looking at the conference. The
Yeah.
NFC it's easy for Philly. There's only one team that really gives me the cause to pause, which would be San Francisco.
Yeah, that was my only thing because
Yet,
San Francisco.
yet again, who's their quarterback going in? Because
Purdy's their quarterback to the promised land. Brock Purdy all the way to the Super
I
Bowl.
feel like if they had Purdy last
Let's
year,
go.
I feel like it's likely that they could have made it. They barely like I don't know. It
I
didn't feel
mean,
like the Eagles just like dominated them or
yeah,
anything. It was
they
just like
dominated. It's just
mm.
the 49ers was just so
It's
they.
not about the quarterback. They got there with
I mean, they
what's his
got there with
face?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G. I might be able to throw further than Jimmy G. Like
Right, that's it. He is a professional quarterback. That's
Jimmy G, he is a like. Come on now, but I'm not tripping off that. Brock Purdy is just a reskinned Jimmy G. They still
Mhm.
have
Well, Brock
dude
Purdy,
behind them.
actually, Brock Purdy, I think he's a better playmaker than Jimmy
I,
Garoppolo.
I was gonna say. I think if you give Brock Purdy, which he's gonna get time in training camp, time to build chemistry, time to figure guys out, people are gonna see that he is a lot better than Jimmy
You think that
Garoppolo.
he's so we all agree that he's at the very least not a downgrade from Jimmy G.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think he's a
Yeah.
downgrade.
So then what are we talking about? As long as he stays healthy, I feel like the San Francisco is going to be right there.
Yeah,
Christian McCaffrey's more used to the team, and then obviously the coach. Like it's just like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's not.
Even though he's one of the best coaches, he also gives me cause to pause because in the biggest
Mm,
moments, ain't really his mo. Because he was the offensive coordinator for when the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead.
mm,
He in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter after Patrick Mahomes threw a second interception, the offense did nothing. Uh, the NFC Championship game against the Rams, his offense didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. He has some very questionable fourth quarter performances in terms of his offense.
that's fair, but I mean, am I betting? So this is why the question's so tough because it could really go either way. I'm definitely not going to be like, okay, you're just wrong for saying the Eagles are more likely to make it than the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. It's just something. It is something about Patrick Mahomes where I'm just like, I just have a hard time ever doubting him at this
Yeah,
point.
I mean,
Hmm.
there's
Unless
something.
Josh Allen steps up, I'm like, because who do we really think? Because I'm not doubting the AFC is competitive. We all know this. There's a bunch of teams that could do it, but who do you really think will do it?
I mean,
That's
there's
The
one team
Bengals.
who
I
has
probably got
done it.
the.
It's the
Yeah,
Bengals.
that's my only thing is the Bengals. So on both sides, I think there's one real team because I feel like the Bills and like
I mean,
they're not. They just feel like they're pump faking to me. Something's not there. They're missing something to me that is just like I feel like Stephon Diggs is just gonna have to stand there and watch celebrations over and over because something's not clicking with that team.
I mean,
A
it's
team
just
that should
like
be so much better. Mm,
it's just like the defense just needs to come up short every time they face them in the playoffs. Because like
that's fair.
because Josh Allen had one of the best playoff performances against the Chiefs, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
is that the Bills' defense or is that just the Chiefs' offense? I mean,
That's my
No,
thing. I'm like,
I'm going Bills defense. You trying to tell me like Patrick Mahomes got them in the field goal range to send it to overtime in less than 15 seconds. That's defense to me.
that's that. Oh, that's not defense. That's
is
defensive
that
coordinator because their guys were where they were supposed to be, leaving the middle of the field wide the blank open. Because that's,
Because
it's not like there was blown coverage. It's not like there was guys getting run by. There was just nobody there. And if there's nobody there, that could be guys just being stupid. But normally that's on the defensive coordinator. So
and
I don't think that's the defense underperforming there.
that defensive coordinator actually just took a hiatus. So,
yeah, I don't know. But my thing is like to beat Patrick Mahomes at this point in the Chiefs. Like you just said, Josh Allen had an amazing performance and still lost. You have to be like on your P's and the whole team has to be on their P's and Q's because if you mess up, the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they will do it to you. They will just like it'll just happen unless you are. They just never seem to be off. Whenever it counts, they always are just like ready. So I could see the Bengals doing it. I could see the Bengals doing it if they're like really, really on. But at this point, it's like
Yeah, I mean,
if
let's
we're expecting a team to be almost perfect to beat them, whereas like the Eagles, I feel like the Eagles and San Fran is like more of a toss up than some of these other teams with the Chiefs. I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs kind of like you would think it wouldn't be such a like the chokehold that it is, but I think at some point it just comes down to who really just like I don't know because it's not like it's not even like I think the Chiefs roster is just better than everyone else's. I definitely
it's
like
just
on paper you wouldn't think it. So
they have Patrick Mahomes and everybody else doesn't.
yeah, that's
That's
kind of
kind
what
of
it is.
that's what it is. It's kind of like it's like the NBA. It's like LeBron James
Mhm.
versus the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's kind of
Where
one of
they
those things
have
where it's like,
LeBron and y'all
mhm.
don't. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to like when you have the guy, you know you have the guy,
Right.
and when you step on that field, everyone knows. All eyes must see, all mouths must confess. It's Patrick Mahomes, man. And when he
Mhm.
steps on that field, you know you are going to have to do everything to stop him. Because we see now, even if he's injured, he will still find a way. So it's like we're expecting teams to be almost perfect to beat him. Whereas the Eagles, the I could see them losing to other people more so than I could see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs losing to somebody else. That's the only reason why I say the Chiefs.
So, I mean, my thing with the whole returning, I mean, we're looking at what teams can be able to beat everybody else. And I think you look at the AFC, you got the Bills, Dolphins, Jets,
Mm-hmm.
Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and you could throw the Steelers in there.
I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
Steelers.
And the AFC South got absolutely nobody. We're not going to, I mean,
Yeah.
that don't matter. And then the West,
Jacksonville maybe, but
no. And then the AFC West, if Russ overperforms, that new coach, great coach,
Mm-hmm.
he's a great coach. And then the Chargers, maybe. Those are all teams that have a chance to be with the Chiefs. Then you look at the NFC. What?
Do they really? Okay, but like, here's what I'm saying. Like, they're competitive teams. But like, we're talking about the Broncos. Do you really see a universe where the Broncos are beating the Chiefs?
they
Like,
Seeing where Sean Payton is one of the greatest coaches of all time.
well the Broncos
That's,
they have one of the best defenses in football.
I'm not saying they're a bad team by any means. Don't get my words twisted here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like even in the regular season. I'm not saying they can't beat them. I'm saying could you imagine waking up to a day where you look up and Russell Wilson and the Broncos just knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs? Does that sentence make sense to you? I don't know.
What I'm putting the Broncos at is that there's going to be a point in the season, in my opinion, where we're late in the season and the Broncos are behind the Chiefs by 1 or 2 games because they're keeping up, and then the Chiefs are 1 injury away from not winning the division because the Broncos are that close to them.
Okay.
I don't think that the Chiefs are going to have that chokehold on the AFC West that they've had, and I think the Broncos are going to be very improved. They had injuries, they had an awful quarterback, but I mean, if you look at what Sean Payton did with Drew Brees, his talents took what Drew Brees was good at and then just made it the offense, so Drew Brees could be elite. Everybody else just had to do their job, and that made the team elite. Drew Brees was already elite. Russell Wilson is still an elite quarterback. Awful in whatever system he is. He just did not fit the Broncos, and he played it horribly. I still have him as an elite quarterback.
As an elite? What are we calling?
I'm using that term loosely. I'll give you that, but I mean, he's better than guys like Trevor Lawrence.
Whoa!
I think
No.
That's just I'm taking. Okay, here's a take for you. This might get posted on Wise Talk on the Instagram.
Oh, no.
But I'm taking current Russell Wilson over current Tua Tagovailoa.
I still don't even like that. But even Tua, that's not Trevor Lawrence. Tua.
I know, but Tua's more media love. Tua's more deep ball love. Tua's more highlight guy. So I figured I'd use that name instead.
Trevor Lawrence, like we're talking about him as like a guy that could be up there very soon, like this year, like up there.
And I'm
saying Russell Wilson.
I'm also not sold on the Jaguars to win the AFC South. Yeah, I think the Colts have a shot at winning that. That's just me. But
Over the
I know that's a take. That's a take.
Coach J might like it because he like Anthony Richardson, but I don't know.
But like, if you look at the defenses in the AFC South, pathetic. They are bad. They are awful.
It is bad. The Titans, they have Derrick Henry. They just added DeAndre Hopkins, but Ryan Tannehill.
Who's going to throw to him?
Yeah, so
Are you taking Ryan Tannehill over Russell Wilson?
Absolutely not.
I would not. I would not.
Absolutely not.
Are they not? And to me, those are like the same tier. Like right now, today,
Actually, what
we take if we take yes, if we take names out of it, and this is the case with both Russes in the sports worlds right now. If we take the name Russ off of him, and we just look at what he did, he's getting older. I'm not expecting him to get much. Last year, he played like one of the like
he was
one
awful.
of the very, very worst. It was shock. I'm not expecting him to be that bad, but you're talking about him being better than like you're taking like a Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor Lawrence is like what top 7, like up there, like definitely.
Whoa. Back it up.
Lock
Let's
top
go.
10. Lock
Let's
top
go through
10.
this. Let's just go through this. Is Trevor Lawrence better than Josh Allen?
No.
Tua.
Yes.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Right now, today, that's a conversation. That's a conversation. That's a conversation.
Conversation, but no.
Joe Burrow.
No.
No.
Lamar Jackson.
No.
Conversation. I feel like Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers are kind of in the same little bubble to me right now.
That's disrespectful. I'll give you that, but that's disrespectful.
I still have Aaron.
Trevor Lawrence, I believe, like after what I saw in the playoffs one, he was looking great, and he was looking really good. He was looking really good. I don't know. I'm going to give the other guys the edge still. But I'm saying that's like the same tier.
That's good. Let's see who's next. Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
At this moment, yes.
Okay. Who's the Steelers quarterback?
Kenny Pickett.
Worse.
White guy.
Worse.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I didn't. Let's see who other. I mean,
you're thinking about
Patrick Mahomes.
Obviously no.
Okay.
But like Jalen Hurts.
That's 5 guys already.
I don't know. Like I don't think you said Jalen Hurts. You didn't. Did you say Tua already?
I'm going through the AFC first, and I'm going back around.
Okay, got you.
I'm only saying teams that like have a chance. Like I'm skipping over teams. Like I'm not gonna say the Colts because we're looking at Russ.
Yes.
Okay.
Easily.
We're looking at Derek Carr.
Yes, easily.
Justin Herbert.
No.
Okay. Then we got Dak.
Yes.
Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts.
No.
What?
If I'm a GM, if I gotta pick one, I'm probably taking Hurts because I've seen. But I'm saying Trevor Lawrence. Like
probably
when I say I'm high on Trevor Lawrence, like I wouldn't be surprised. Like MVP talks, like this year, next year, like I'm high on. I really am high on him. Maybe not this year. Lock next year. MVP talks.
Okay. Trevor could be in MVP talks probably the year after, but the AFC is way too stacked for right now.
Yeah. Do you think by the end of the season that he will be a top 5 quarterback?
No.
Okay.
I think that's very realistic. Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, let's finish this list. Let's go through all the teams and then see where he's sitting, and then we can see who he has to jump to be top 5. All right. So next we got Justin Fields.
Yes.
Jared Goff.
Yes.
Jordan Love.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins.
I hope not. As a Packers fan. Yes.
You got Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield. That's only real QB.
And the NFC is kind of weak.
I had to say somebody from the NFC South. You know, we can't skip over them as a whole. And then we got Kyler Murray.
Yes.
Okay.
Even though I'm still high on Kyler, even though everyone's not, but I got Trevor.
I'm not as harsh on Kyler as other people, but definitely Trevor.
You need to put down the PlayStation controller.
Kyler.
No, people think Kyler is actually a bust already.
Yes. Madden rated him like a 79 or something. That
Well, that's because he's 5'1". All his physical attributes are awful.
I get it.
I mean,
I get
those
how they
count
do
towards
it.
something.
I get how they do it, but
Abilities are
79,
elite.
79. Do you look at Kyler say a
They
79?
have him on the
But
same. They have him on the same level as I think Derek Carr. I'm not with that.
I'm with that.
I'm
I'm
not
with that.
Of
no.
course you're with
I,
that.
I am a believer that wins can be a quarterback stat. Think in the terms of the Cardinals, the wins were absolutely a quarterback stat. They were also a staff stat. They were also a coaching stat. I think they can be, and I think with the Cardinals, they were absolutely a quarterback stat. Team like the 49ers? Not really.
You,
But
you and Kale with this quarterback wins as a stat. It's
Yeah,
not a
I don't like
stat.
that. Mm-mm.
If wins is a quarterback stat, Jimmy Garoppolo is a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Cause I mean, on that same tip, then Aaron Rodgers last year, who was he passing to? Like they were just dropping stuff. I
that's
was
what I'm
watching it
saying.
and screaming at my TV.
Two
Those type
Aaron
of things.
Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers wasn't Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers made some bad throws on third downs. Aaron Rodgers made
Yes,
some bad throws on fourth down.
and I think Aaron Rodgers last year was arguably worse than Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that's crazy to say. I think it was like we still know who he is. He was just back to back MVP. Obviously we know who he is. So that's why I can still understand you saying him over Trevor, and I won't even like argue with that or nothing. But I don't think that's ridiculous to say. So like saying Russell, like all this stuff is cool. Trevor Lawrence, he doesn't have to be top five. He's better than Russell Wilson by a large margin.
Yeah, I don't think that you can just. I don't think you can just throw out names so easily. I think the system matters. Coaches matter.
I agree.
I think with Russell Westbrook, people threw him out when he was on the Lakers. He went to the Clippers, and he had very good efficiency. Not very good. He had pretty good efficiency. He had great rebounding and second chance numbers. He was the ideal teammate because he fit the system. I mean, you give Russ a great coach.
It would be like arguing Anthony Edwards versus Russell Westbrook right now.
Right now, because I'm building a team, I'm taking Anthony Edwards.
No, even production.
As a player, you were taking Anthony Edwards. Like it's not like a question. I don't think
Am I?
Stop.
Am I?
Stop.
I mean, boys. Who's
Stop.
team as a whole? Team as a whole. Who's gonna make your team better? Who, boys? Ooh.
No.
That's a conversation to be had.
Oh no.
That will be a future conversation when we get back to the NBA talk.
Does it need to be? Does it really need to?
It does not need to be a discussion, but Benjamin about to make it one.
I don't
Put me on
think
the podcast, okay, guys. Sign me up.
I do not think that he believes. I don't think he believes a single word of what he's saying. And I know deep down, like, I get it. Being a contrarian is cool. Let's stop. Let's just stop.
I have always been a lover of Russell Westbrook. All right. And I think
I love Russ too.
It comes to the team. I mean, Ant is not a great passer. He turns the ball over a lot. So does Russell Wilson.
Let's stop.
Okay, man, don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. He was ball hogging over there in Minnesota. All right, he had all right to ball hog, but he was ball hogging over there in Minnesota.
Hold up.
It's an NFL.
And don't pull up assist numbers and give me those BS transition assists where he's just dumping the ball off to wide open guys. Don't give me that. Don't pull up his assists right now. I know what you're doing, Cabrion.
No. Here's what I'm looking up his turnover rate.
This is the nastiest conversation I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, 3 turnovers a game. Okay, fine.
Thank you. I know relatively more stuff.
First off, let's move forward.
Yep.
Yes, please.
NBA talk will be in the future. We're supposed to do another podcast episode this week. Let's save that for later. So
I'm getting acid reflux. Think about this. This is actually so nasty.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back to Trevor Lawrence. To Mason's question. Wait, did we? Did we finish the list, Ben? Did we finish that list?
The only quarterback left would be wait, give me a second. Let me pull it up. It's you mentioned Geno Smith or Brock Purdy. I mean, between those two, I don't think.
No.
Trevor.
Yes, that would put him at 8. That would put him at 8 based off what we said.
Actually, I do have him at 8 on my list. Actually,
All right, so then perfect then.
I might have him slightly higher, but eight's not bad. Considering the names we said above, eight's not bad.
Yeah.
I might have him over Lamar and Aaron Rodgers. That's why I'm so high on him.
Who's back
And,
up?
and I'm looking at Jalen Hurts too, but Jalen Hurts just was in the Super Bowl playing how he did. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah,
Who's his backup?
Who?
Trevor Lawrence. If he get hurt, the Jaguars have a shot at making the playoffs.
Is Minshew still there?
I thought Minshew retired.
No, he's
No, Gardner Minshew is an Eagle.
yeah, he's out
They
there. Yeah.
they
I was
have
wrong.
two quarterbacks on their preseason roster right now. CJ Beathard, Trevor Lawrence.
C.J. Beathard.
I'm not seeing any other QBs on their current preseason roster unless
That is
I'm
a custom character.
blind.
I
No, here's another one. This ain't a real person. Nathan from Ohio, Oakville.
Where are we going with this?
I'm just saying like if we want to see Trevor Lawrence in the postseason, what if he gets hurt? Who's gonna are they making the playoffs?
What if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt? What if
The Chiefs still go 12-5 and have a shot at winning the AFC West.
Wait, without Mahomes?
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes.
What?
Elite
Okay,
coaching,
so first-
elite defense, elite weapons.
How can winning be a quarterback stat? Even the
Elite defense, they were hurt, K-Bron. They're still elite. I made the same point in
They have
Bowl talks.
elite
way back when. Way back when, during the Super Bowl talks, I made this point that the Chiefs' defense would perform better than the Eagles' defense up front and in the secondary. And I was right.
Jalen Hurts still what had 4 touchdowns? So
Okay. They were doing their job, though, K-Bron. Your job is to rush the edge. Your job is to edge rush, and you're going to leave the middle open for people to make a tackle. I mean, that's not on the up front, guys.
Okay, but let's just restart here. Because now I just got some questions. This is you are an interesting fella. So okay, winning's a quarterback stat, right? But if one of like the best quarterbacks of all time getting up, like some people like think he's going to be the GOAT, him being gone isn't going to change much.
What I think is that so winning is a quarterback stat, but losing is a quarterback stat. Having lots of wins is a quarterback stat. When have you seen a good QB on a 3-4 win team?
Peyton Manning.
He was playing half the downs a game. He wasn't on the field that much. I mean,
I'm talking about his early years.
yeah, and I'm saying he got hurt a lot in his younger years.
But like this is a scenario where Patrick Mahomes isn't there, so even that I'm not understanding. Like we said if Patrick Mahomes is like gone. Like,
and I'm saying, I mean, with the talent that they have, they're gonna go out there and be good with Shane Buechele.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
No.
Stop. You don't believe that. That's so.
That's disrespectful at this point.
What do you think that offense is going to do without Pat? Like realistically, let's just look at how much. I think like if any team winning is a quarterback stat. The Chiefs are that team. Patrick Mahomes. Think about who he's passing to. Who's this? The other. I forgot the name already. He's a creative.
Travis Kelce, the greatest tight end of all time.
Up there. He could.
But lots of the Chiefs' offense is made by like plays being extended and all that other type of stuff. That's like something that Patrick Mahomes does. That's a luxury to have. A random QB is not about to make. Who's the best wide receiver right now? Kadarius Toney, and I believe Kadarius Toney could be something. He could be something. He could be something.
Well, speaking of Kadarius Toney, he just underwent surgery.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that. Dang. But
he should be ready. He should be ready for the season, though, right? He's pretty.
Yeah, they said it's a cleanup surgery. They said. So Andy Reid said there's a chance he'll be ready by the season.
So what? So what? Is Kadarius Toney and Marquez Valdez-Scantling? He's still there, right?
Because McCole Hardman left to be a Jet.
So what would this backup be doing with that? And then obviously Travis Kelce. I think like we're underestimating, and it's crazy to even think that this is possible. I think we're underestimating Patrick Mahomes' impact on what that offense can do.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
let me not
that
say we.
Patrick
Let me not
Mahomes
say
is not a
we.
good quarterback. I'm just saying they could go out there with with an average quarterback and still win. Like they could go, a solid 7-3, 7-4 without Patrick Mahomes in the middle of the season.
I don't
Also,
think so.
looking at the Chiefs' schedule, let's go through this real quick. Lions, Jaguars, Bears, Jets, Vikings, Broncos,
The Lions
Chargers,
can't beat the Chiefs
Broncos,
without
Dolphins. I
The
mean,
Lions aren't
those
no
are a lot of teams.
pushover. The Lions aren't a
Those
I
are
mean,
a
pushover.
I,
lot of teams. You just
I
said a
hear
lot of
one
teams.
loss,
Did you just talk up the
one
Broncos?
possible loss.
You just talked up the Broncos.
I just did talk up the
Did
Broncos,
you
but I'm
just say
saying
that?
like
You said the Dolphins too. The
I've never been
Dolphins.
high on the Dolphins. I've never
That's just
been
you then, man.
Oh
big
yeah,
on the
he.
Dolphins.
Oh
The
yeah, he.
Dolphins
Yeah,
could beat the Chiefs without Patrick
yeah,
Mahomes.
yeah. He's not high on the Dolphins because he doesn't like Tua.
I'm, I'm a big Tua hater. I
Who
think
are you
his.
high on? Oh, I
Who
don't
am I
like
high
Tua
on?
either. I don't like
Who am
Tua
I
either.
high on?
It sounds like you're low on
Baker
everybody.
Mayfield.
No.
Baker Mayfield. That's who he
It
high
sounds like
on.
you're high on Russell Wilson.
I'm high. I'm high on the Ravens to be successful with Lamar Jackson.
All right, that's valid.
I'm not high on him, but I like Anthony Richardson in the AFC South. I think the Colts have a chance to compete there with him.
Okay.
Um, I'm high on
Compete
Daniel
for
Jones.
what?
I'm a Daniel Jones believer. I'm a Giants believer. That's me.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel
Hey,
Jones.
he is an
Vanilla
efficient
Vic.
quarterback, and he is a underrated athletic quarterback. He's
Look,
an
I had him
athlete.
in fantasy last year. I had him in fantasy last year. Shout out
He's
Vanilla
not.
Vic. You helped me out a little bit, but Vanilla, really, really,
And then who else am I high on?
I being like what, a top 20 quarterback, really, like,
Top 20 for Daniel Jones? Absolutely. Top 20?
like that's your high. Like I guess.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, compared to other people,
I guess
because some people have
relative.
Daniel
Yeah.
Jones, like,
Okay.
bottom five, like, they don't even have him in conversations
no.
to be good.
He's
And that's,
overall. He's cool.
who else am I high on? I'm not high about the NFC South. That's going to be pathetic to watch this year. We ain't got to talk about that.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be worse than the NFC South.
I said NFC, carry on.
Oh, I thought you said AFC.
And then I'm high on Brock Purdy and I'm high on Geno Smith to have even more improved years than the year before.
Okay.
Okay, that's
But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about any of your takes so far. This is
I don't like to hop on the bandwagon and just take easy takes. That's boring to me. All right,
No,
and I
that's-
guess sometimes that makes me wrong. But I also have been right with insane takes on Wise Talk before. Thinking back to the MLB World Series, I had that almost exact, and no one else believed in me. I had that almost exact.
this.
So I mean,
I mean,
That's just-
and also he was right about Marquette not going far into March Madness.
I do have some takes here and there, but
It's possible. It's possible, but
But yeah,
I don't know about that. That for sure that Chiefs one is wild to me.
I listen.
And for sure that Russell Wilson one over Trevor Lawrence is absolutely like no.
I think we got to see Russ play again.
I agree.
I
but,
don't.
But
I don't.
I don't think Russ will be better than Trevor anytime soon.
Yeah, I think
I still have belief in my old Wisconsin quarterback. All right, that might be a little bit of bandwagon in me.
I mean,
a little bit. But-
it upsets me as a Wisconsin fan seeing Russ like that. I hope people
Mhm.
do as well, but
I used to be a Seahawks bandwagon. I love Russ, but this was like way back when I only used to play like Madden Mobile, and I got Russell Wilson. And I thought I was so nice on Madden and Madden Mobile and whatnot. But yeah, I used to be a big Russell Wilson fan. I hate to see him like this, man. I wanted the Broncos country to ride and whatnot, but it was a bumpy, bad crash landing ride. That was bad.
that Russ drove and he
Yeah, he was.
Me as a fan and as a person, I still don't blame Russ for 100% of last season. He was awful. I'll give you that. He almost had less touchdowns than bathrooms in his own house. All right, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, I kept up with that.
I think that it was a flawed system. God awful coaching. Not that I could do any better. I should say that as a disclaimer. I say god awful. I do worse. Let's just put that out there. But I don't put it on 100% on him, and I still believe in him. Same with Russell Westbrook. I still believe in him. You know, maybe having just one more or like 10 good games, great games, like vintage Russell Wilson still and Russell Westbrook. So I mean, I have belief still, but
I think the best thing you can do as a fan of a player, of a team, of anything, it's kind of how I am with the Packers right now, it's okay to know when to let go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Russell Wilson just. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he is last year, but I think he's going to be
I mean,
maybe
yet again,
peak
how much
slightly above Daniel
yet
Jones,
again, how much
like
worse
in
could he
those other
get?
people.
How much worse could he get from last year?
I
That's
don't think there's
that's
nowhere
that's
to go.
How much
me.
worse could you get?
There's nowhere to go but up at this point. To me, I think if he finds that would be crazy. The worst you get is to the bench. That's what that is.
I mean, the
So
worst is
the,
Baker Mayfield.
Is that an option when you're paying a guy what they're
no,
paying
that's what
him?
I'm
I
like. That's
mean,
what I'm like. There's literally I don't
you
think.
can't you can't bench a $200 million guy.
Sean Payton would do it. Sean Payton would
No,
do it. Yeah, he'll do
Mm,
it. He'll do it. He'll do it. He'll do it.
mm,
Well, actually, it's
but
depending on who your backup is, also.
yeah, that's
Put that
true.
on too.
But sometimes your backup might be worse than your bad starter. That's what you end up with the Panthers last year doing
Yep.
who knows what with
Well,
their QB situation.
actually, not really, because Sam Darnold was bad to start off the year. Then Baker was worse. Then Sam Darnold got back, and they actually performed well with him.
Yeah,
Sam Darnold's on a new team this year. What team is he on?
San Francisco, actually.
Oh yeah, I remember looking for the road. So I mean, he doesn't have a chance to start for that team, but
No.
but yeah. So I don't know. I can't see Russell Wilson getting worse. At worst, he stays where he was last year, which is basically the worst from what I was seeing. He was definitely one of the worst starters to me
One of the
last
worst.
year.
he was.
The worst to me was Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
obviously.
I think he might have been the worst triple-digit quarterback ever since triple-digit millions. I mean,
Yeah,
might have been the worst ever, but I still have belief in my heart.
I think his peak is if I see him having some type of miracle comeback. I think his peak is like a Kirk Cousins, which isn't even horrible,
I mean,
but
it's
just like
horrible, but
just like I think I could see him being I could see him being passable maybe. I could see him being passable, but I don't think he's just gonna be great.
because I actually do believe Kirk Cousins is underappreciated to a degree. Because Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
actually had a very good year last year.
Yeah.
But people are just they're too gung ho on like the prime time Kirk and things of that nature. Because against the Eagles didn't perform that well. Did have that bad fourth down throw against the Giants in the playoff game. But
They get absolutely railed by the Packers. That's all right.
got derailed by the Packers yet again because Jair had Dennis on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Got the post right next to me.
yeah, because Kirk is a very good quarterback, but when you have that,
Yeah.
that kind of thing over you, people are never gonna get over it.
I think he's all Kirk's just good. He's just a good quarterback. He's just cool. He's
not
like
great, but he's good.
yeah, he's like a cool like 83, 84 overall. He's good. You're fine having him on your team. You're not looking to replace him and anything like that. I can see Russell Wilson getting to that as the absolute peak to me. That is what I feel like the peak of him will be.
Kirk, like you can get there with them, but he won't elevate you. That's
Yeah. That's what I think. That's what I think Russell Wilson's peak will be right now. I don't think he's just like completely just horrible, but I don't see him being like anywhere near Trevor Lawrence, since that's what the conversation was about. I don't see that.
No, I agree with that. Kirk, I mean, Kirk Cousins is not as good as Trevor Lawrence. I think Russell Wilson's better than Kirk Cousins. That's just me.
Right now, today,
we're just taking 1 year of a guy in a brand new system and a really bad
one like god awful year.
Was so
It was pathetic. It was awful. But I mean, you go the year before, he's with a great coach in a great system, and he's doing great. He's now in a great coach with hopefully a great system. We won't know yet because we don't know what the heck Sean Payton's going to do with what he has there.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same thing, except they're gonna try to utilize Russell Wilson's legs more.
They need to incorporate Jerry Jeudy way more. Jerry Jeudy, I feel like he is like he has like top 10 potential to me. I'm super high on Jerry Jeudy to me.
I have been clamoring for a Jerry Judy breakout season for 3 years now,
Who's
and
his quarterback? Somebody got to get the ball to. You're a wide receiver. He can't throw it to himself. You cannot count him out. Think about how bad Devontae Adams was starting out. Think about how bad he was for a while. You got to give them time. It just takes a little bit. It just takes a little bit of time,
hmm
and boom. You see, like the skills. Obviously, the route running. I easily think he's like
hmm
a top five route runner. Like definitely up there. His route running is crazy.
yeah, he's
Like
a great route runner
def
for sure.
lock top 10, but I could definitely see him top five. And I just think I definitely think maybe this is a Madden in me, but I could easily see him developing with Russell Wilson there. And if we think that Russell Wilson can at least be good,
hmm
I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
I mean, we do have to see it though, because I like Jerry
Yeah.
Judy a lot. I mean, he's an Alabama receiver. He should be destined for success. So,
Hmm.
you know, we shall
Yeah.
see. We shall see.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a breakout. I'm hoping for a breakout. That's somebody that I've always been high on. So we'll have to see what goes on with Jerry Judy. But I think Russell Wilson has the tools to be good. I feel like because what's the wide receiver core over there? It's Jerry Judy. Tim Patrick
It's Tim
is
Patrick,
is
Cortland
he
Sutton.
the,
Cortland
Tim
Sutton.
Patrick's pretty solid.
Yeah, he's solid.
Sutton
Hmm
really solid. But yeah, the wide receiver. And if we think Jerry Judy's going to take a leap, then that wide receiver core gets way better looking. In the running back situation, good running back. The team's good, so I don't doubt that Russell Wilson will be good this year. I don't doubt that. I'd be happy to see it. I'd be very happy to see it. I like the Broncos.
But they're in a tough division. You
Very
still got
yeah,
you got
very
the Chiefs
tough.
still. You got
Hmm.
my Chargers to a degree. I'm with Justin Herbert, but Brandon Staley can kick rocks for all I'm concerned. I'm
Hmm.
concerned. So honestly, if I was the coach, we'd go to the Super Bowl. But that's just me. That's just me. But uh, we're actually do if anything got anything to add on to this subject, and we can move forward to our biggest problems with Madden ratings.
I'm
I
all I'm all good. I feel like we covered everything and more.
mhm.
Yep. So let's go to the biggest problem with the Madden ratings. Quite controversial,
Uh,
indeed.
Let me go
Uh,
pull these up again.
yeah.
These were the best ones they've had in a while. I mean, obviously they're not perfect. I mean, there's gonna be problems by fans with teams and just like diehard fans. But I think this is the best ones I had in a while. Like they do, I think they have too big a gaps. Like Jair Alexander being 95,
Oh my gosh,
Jalen
quarterback
Hurts
ratings
being
were
Jalen Hurts being an 88. I think that has to do with the fact that he didn't throw a ball a lot, and
Bobby
like he was
Wagner is an 89, I believe, or like
Oh my.
high
Oh.
80s, high
Oh.
80. Bobby Wagner,
he
Oh.
was hurt. He was hurt, wasn't he?
he is old. He's
Yeah.
old. He's not an 89 at the
But
not
actually,
an 89.
what's Devin White's rating? I gotta go to that. What's Devin White's rating, please?
All I have up is like the top 10. I have a top 10 list up, and I'm just kind of I haven't looked at this at all because I haven't looked at the Madden ratings. I forgot about this part. So
I gotta go find all of them.
I gotta find it.
I know I was not rocking with the cornerback list
Yeah,
at
yeah. Oh,
at
the
all.
cornerback list I did not like
The
because
cornerback list, I feel like
they underrated
bad.
they underrated one corner so bad. It is so bad.
I mean, we got Patrick Surtain 94, Sauce Gardner 93, Marlon Humphrey 93, Darius Slay 92, Stephon Gilmore 91, Marshawn Lattimore 90, Tre'Davious White 90, Denzel Ward 88. That's a bit crazy. Those are the top 10, and then
I believe J.C. Horn, who I have as a top 15 corner, is a 78 overall.
that's a bit crazy, isn't it?
That is terrible.
2 and 83. Love to see that. Kirk Cousins is rated higher than Tua Tagovailoa.
Ew.
Dak Prescott is rated higher than Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and Tua Tagovailoa. And Dak Prescott is the same as Justin Herbert.
And also here's what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
waiting
that was
for.
one. That was
Yeah,
one.
that was
Justin
okay.
Herbert's way too low.
But
Justin Herbert's way too low.
here's what I'm waiting for. The ratings definitely do matter, but the superstar X factors and the superstars is what I'm waiting for. Cause
Those are always
cause,
bad.
'cause
I mean,
those are
here
the
at this point.
worst ones. Because normally the X factors is basically the best of the best players. For some reason, Dak Prescott is an X factor exiting Madden 23.
They love Cowboys players. That's what
I
that
agree.
is.
Even though even though they gave Zach Martin a 99 rating, I agree with it because he's probably the best offensive lineman in football. So I'm cool with that.
You got him over left tackle in
Trent
San
Williams.
Fran. Yeah,
Yep,
Trent.
I actually do. Trent Williams, he's
Mm.
like right there, but I have Zach Martin a little above.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
My assessment of O line isn't that crazy, so I'm not gonna argue it or anything.
Jesus Christ.
This is usually I hear about Trent Williams, but for the quarterbacks, I don't like this quarterback list at all. At all. I feel like they kind of have the names right, but the ratings. I feel like they're really conservative with their ratings.
They
I feel
are.
like lots of the time they keep people lower just for the sake of not having a bunch of people with high overalls. But I think if it's a bunch of people with high overalls, just have them there. I think I don't hate Joe Burrow as a 95 necessarily, but then they got like Josh Allen as a 94. I don't think that's true. I think Josh Allen's at the lowest in 95. So if that means also bump up Joe Burrow, then do that. I don't care. Patrick Mahomes is a 99, obviously. Lamar Jackson has a 91. I'm fine with that. Jalen Hurts is an 88. I'm not at all. 90 at the very least.
Underrated.
90 at the very least. He went head to head with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and some people could argue that he might have played better. Some people will try to make that argument to you.
That's insane.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then Justin Herbert is an 87.
The
Once
same
again,
overall
90
Dak
at the least.
Prescott.
That's
I
disgusting.
cannot explain this enough. In terms of like media and things of that nature, Dak Prescott is one of the most overrated players in football.
I agree with that so much.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I don't think. I mean, I could make an argument for him not being a top 10 quarterback in the game.
He's not. He's not.
I don't think he is off the top
I think
of
I
my
could push
head.
him all the way back to like 13th or
If
14th.
Trevor Lawrence is
He's
number
like
8,
13th.
if we got Trevor Lawrence at number 8, then I don't is Dak better than Tua?
No,
Yes.
I don't.
To me,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I also hate Tua. That's all right. I mean, I'll stay. I'll stay.
That's fair. I don't think Dak's better than Tua.
Nope.
Is Dak?
It really,
Justin Fields. Where are we taking Justin Fields over Dak?
no.
I think if
Fields got to prove.
I think these are different questions. You said take him over Dak. If I'm a GM and I'm making a team and I'm like building for the future, I probably will because I already know what I'm gonna get with Dak, which is a lot of interceptions and not anywhere in the playoffs. It just feels has potential. That's a different question. Who's right now better? Dak. I'll say that.
Do you think Dak would be a better quarterback if he was drafted to a non-Cowboys team where the media attention wasn't always on him and where like his success was like
I don't
to be
know.
appreciated?
I honestly think what you're getting from Dak now is what you would get from anywhere else. That's
Maybe even less because the weapons he's had have been really good.
To be fair, his rookie season, he was a weapon. That year where we beat them with the field goal,
He was really
and
good
I
for a
told Snap
while.
I took on the sidelines that year when he was rookie of the year and Ezekiel Elliott was offensive rookie of the year or something like that.
yeah. Zeke was. I think Zeke was
Yeah.
offensive rookie of the year. I hope.
All
He
right.
was. Hope he was.
I don't know. They both won awards. I just don't know which got which.
Yeah.
And like they were weapons back then, but they have fallen off considerably since those days. But Dak Prescott had a running back prime right there.
Yep. Zeke, he had his running back prime. His
He
rookie
done.
year was probably his best year.
What's the running backs looking like? I feel like Zeke would be someone to
Oh,
sneak
the
in.
running back list was horrible. I remember
running
that.
back
I remember
list, I
that.
think that was bad too.
I remember
Never
that.
said that.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on.
I mean,
number one,
I
I don't have a problem with Nick Chubb.
yeah, I think Nick Chubb's the best running back in football.
Christian McCaffrey makes sense because of how versatile he is. He should have better receiving stats than any other guys.
Uh-huh.
Jacobs 95 led the league in touchdowns. Derrick Henry 94. That's a bit crazy. He's still a massive human being. The problem is Jonathan Taylor at 89. What the f?
That yeah. Okay,
That is
so
a big drop off.
okay, so a few things.
That's the only thing I have a problem with. Maybe Austin
Dalvin Cook is not that high anymore. I don't think Dalvin Cook.
Not. D-
Dalvin Cook is not an.
Dalvin Cook
Dalvin Cook is not better than Jonathan Taylor or Austin Eckler right now today.
or
I don't think that's the
or
case.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones,
I don't.
I've given up on them rating him higher. I've given up on that.
Yeah, that's yes. Aaron Jones is never going to get
for 3,000 yards next season. He will peak at an 89 overall with maybe a superstar ability. I don't.
Well, here's the
What
with
Wisconsin team?
Cook.
It's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen.
I don't
But
think I don't think people realize this. Dalvin Cook was one of the most inefficient runners last year. I don't think people understood that. He had an 1,100-yard receiver, but when you look at the way he was running the ball, he was not the same at
oh
all.
yeah, I know.
Don't worry, K. Brown. I took him 4th round in fantasy.
I was just about to say. I was just going to say. I know all Dalvin Cook. If it wasn't for me getting Travis Kelce, if it wasn't for me getting luckily getting Travis Kelce too, and him going crazy in fantasy, oh man, I would have been. Dalvin was getting out there, thinking it up. You know, I know about him.
I had one of the worst fantasies of my life. I had my 2 quarterbacks were Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson to start the year.
Oh,
So that I ended up with Daniel Jones as my starter for most of the year, which he performed. He didn't do
I
that.
had Daniel Jones too. Hey,
He performed, but I mean, it was my 2 were Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. That was an awful start to the year.
Man. My I got Matthew Stafford in both of the leagues I was in, and I thought that he was going to do something. He had like one good game, then he just like he just disappeared. Like his arm just evaporated.
For a little bit or no?
Well, you said what?
Didn't pay attention to the Rams that much. Did he go on the IL last year?
Yeah, he was.
I think he was. Yeah, he definitely. He was out for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He was out, and then Cooper Kupp. Didn't he get injured for a little while
Had a
too?
torn ACL.
and Donald was hurt for a little bit
So
too.
yeah, that went
Aaron
down
Donald
bad.
Jalen Ramsey was stuck in purgatory. It was a very bad year for the Rams.
Yeah, my whole team got injured. I had Brees Hall. He was carrying me for a long time. He got injured. I almost cried because he was going so crazy. I'm not going to get into fantasy. This is about Madden right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, for this running back list, Nick Chubb, him at number 1 is obviously good. He's a 97. I feel like they could honestly bump him up just for the sake of doing it. But I don't hate it though. Christian McCaffrey 96. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs 95. I'm fine with that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he led the league in
But
rushing. So
I think Saquon at 93. I think it's too low.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
Saquon-
I'll have a higher. I
I would at the least I'd have him tied with Josh Jacobs.
Here's my question. So, do you think that there are NFL executives or people in relation to the NFL that get to say in these
Oh
ratings?
yes, obviously.
With the stuff with the running backs going on, we're seeing that reflected in the ratings. Because now, like you get people playing Madden. When Saquon sucks in Madden, well, now Saquon sucks in real life. And now you're losing the support of the public as the running backs trying to fight for pay. You're losing a lot of stuff that you would have. So, I mean, I think there could be something.
And then also, let's just look at this from a business perspective. All jokes aside, realistically, with any ranking on any big thing that like these rankings matter, obviously they're gonna put some crazy stuff in it. Because last year they had a whole scheme with that. Because I'm a big Madden person. I was on Madden before I got on here. They had a whole thing with like, oh, you call in to ask for ratings to get changed, all that stuff.
Yeah,
They're making a game out of it now. There's no. If they just came out and gave an exact perfect list, who would talk about it afterwards? They'd be like, oh, we'd be like, wow, that's a really good list.
Yeah,
Wow,
true.
it's gonna be over with.
2K does the same thing.
It's public because then people are gonna be more hype around the game, all that other stuff. So from a business perspective, if we just step away from that, then we can get into all the other stuff. I don't think their true interest is in making a super realistic rating system. Same for 2K, same for all these other games. At the end of the day, it's about like marketing, and no better marketing is than people talking about all this stuff, debating all these other things. Then they'll come out and like 2 weeks and be like, okay, we heard you guys. Well, we just changed this person's rating. Keep on calling in and talking about it to see who wants to get changed next. That type of stupid stuff. So if we take that to the side, obviously there's teams that they get favoritism to. Like I said, the Cowboys, every year the Cowboys, they like Cabrian said earlier, They will. Dak Prescott, he can be a 70 overall with the X factor. It's just gonna be that forever. I'm sure they already gave Tony Pollard the superstar ability. I saw he
Yeah,
was over
yeah,
Aaron Jones.
yeah. He's probably gonna be that.
I'm high on Tony Pollard, but over Aaron Jones, I still don't like that. But like I said before, Aaron Jones, I think he had averaged 5 yards a carry last year, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
So I believe so.
I believe because that was like a big thing. Like every time he was like touching it, like it's whatever. Aaron Jones is always gonna be underrated. So with these Madden rankings, I don't put too much stock into them. It's the same as like when I see like Stephen A. or like Mad Dog or all these other people drop their stupid top lists for anything.
The A list.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like it's always just like it's another list. It's meant to
I mean, it's
make
stirred
you
up to
mad.
create the controversy and get the viewers talking, and
Yeah.
it works.
Well, I mean, what would I like to see with like the superstar X factors? Let's make them more rare. So, like when it comes to bazooka, when you want to throw that ball deep, people get it. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. That's it. Nobody else. When it comes to bulldozer, you could argue one person gets it. Derrick Henry. Nobody else. I don't like because like you should
Josh
make
Jacobs maybe. Josh Jacobs maybe.
Yeah, but I feel like the superstar X, like the X factor, should reflect unique abilities from players instead of just being like a general.
Yeah,
I
that
agree.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I agree. But bro, if I'm EA, I'm like, but that's so much effort though.
And that's
When I
gonna
can just
piss a lot
put
of
this
people
out,
off.
when I
EA
can
don't
just
like
put
to
this
give
out.
effort. EA don't like
Oh
to
yeah,
give
no,
effort.
like that's so much effort. Like really, I gotta sit here and study their games. Why not? Like he's this player. Oh, slap that on him. He was good 3 years ago. Well, he must still be the same person right now today. Just boom.
Oh, he taller than 6'2". I guess he bulldozer. Let's give that to
Yep,
him. Like,
just do that. Like that. I guess. And here's my thing with 2K, Madden, all these other things. Of course, you got to think about it like this with 2K and Madden. Like before I even get into this stuff, why would they ever improve? People are gonna buy it anyways. They
Because
this is why I don't think
competition.
yes, they have monopolies over the games. I think the NFL like has a did that end yet where they other people can't make NFL games?
It could end this year. That's why
Okay.
because there's reports saying that Madden 24 is supposed to be the make or break game.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing about. But yeah, so like
well, here's the
2K
thing.
and go you can
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, just continue the thing. Like they just have such a monopoly over football. If you want to play a football game, you're pretty much stuck with Madden.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I put extra effort into this if they're gonna buy it regardless? We're making money regardless. They're gonna make money off of their packs and other sub Ultimate Team regardless. So at the end of the day, those ratings are the ones that matter to them. So when it comes to like these ratings and whatnot, I definitely think that Madden is just one of those things where it's just always going to be the big names are always going to get it no matter how bad they get. They're always going to get the benefit of the doubt. And at this point, it's just one of those things I don't even bother complaining about anymore. You kind of just get used to it. But my question is, why don't they there's people who go out of their way, unpaid, like fans, who will go and make these rosters. They'll be bet in like face scans and all this other stuff that is better than the actual game. Why not just hire those people?
Just hire those people, and now they're getting paid for it, so that might actually make them want to do more. So I'm not
Like there are people who are willing to do it for free. You think they won't do it for money?
Well, I mean, my thing is, like K Brown's point, you said it's going to be the make and break Madden. Determines if it makes it. Is it going to have to be a good game for it to make it, or do they just have to sell a certain amount of copies, which they're going to sell? Because it's,
we know the real
always do it
answer.
because I mean, almost every year they're the highest selling Madden every year. It just happens.
I mean, yeah, and it will never change because of how much they sell until somebody creates something that's going to sell just as much, or fans are like, hey, we're just going to keep playing 22 or 23 until you give us a good thing to spend $125 on in the next game.
But the problem is, and I'm very guilty of this. I know myself as a gamer. There have been so many times on Madden, on 2K, I get rage, I get mad. I'm never playing this again. I'm never buying another one. This is it. I give up.
Right
And
back on
then
the game.
right once they open up those pre-orders,
Straight up.
I'm right there. $100 edition, getting it a few days early to say it sucks again, and the cycle continues.
Well,
I
And then
actually,
think
with Mac,
I have changed to a little bit degree because I used to be that when younger, but now I'm like, I'll wait a month or two, and then I might buy it. Or, actually, last year I came in very, very lucky. I got 2K and Madden games here to me, so I didn't have to spend a
mm,
dime. So
mm,
that's cool.
I mean, you're not going to catch me spending over. Like, I'm waiting till the sale on it. I'm not buying that game at full price. Good. F that, respectfully. There's no video game that's worth $129, which is what Madden 24 is predicted to be cost.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But to the point of like good games, I think a game that does a sports game really well is MLB The Show. Update their rosters every single day based off of people's performances. Every single day. It's always so like you can do a guy that starts at like a 71 at the beginning of the season. He's a 93 by like 2 weeks in because they're on top of it and they don't wait. The only thing I mean that's what I like about that. They're always ready to just like they're always making changes. They have a group of guys that are committed to the game, always changing the game for the better. And I think NFL could take some like every Sunday we're updating stuff.
yeah.
Every single Sunday. I mean,
Yeah, and here's my take on it. If EA and 2K were to just hire people who actually love the game would be so much better. That's what it is. Because the MLB
But
The Show, I'm sure, is full of people who love baseball.
but here's the problem, and I get that and I understand that, but from a business perspective, and here's my thing
what
why I
they do.
think because when you think back to old Maddens and old 2Ks and people reminisce on those ones, they were like when you look back, they were better and the quality slowly gets worse and worse as they get more of a chokehold on the industry. MLB The Show, I know that, I don't know how long they've been making them. Baseball isn't my thing, but I think recently, like these past two, I know for sure are the first ones I've seen getting major hype. They're still
Because,
relatively new.
actually, the
They're still
reason,
relatively new to having major hype, so I don't. I think they still have more to prove.
well, actually, the reason for that is because MLB The Show just now became available to Xbox players. Because at first it was
Oh,
Sony exclusive.
other way around.
Wait,
A little
really?
bit.
Oh,
Yeah, a little
oh,
bit.
oh yeah.
A little.
oh.
I think
Okay.
because I had MLB 21 on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Sure.
Got you.
actually, yeah, because at first it was 21. Because I believe the show like since 21 has been available on Xbox Game Pass. Because at first, when I was growing up in the PS3 and Xbox 360 days, MLB The Show was PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but also when MLB first came up, they were competing with MLB 2K and RBI baseball.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't have this path to greatness that they weren't competing with anybody. They had to fight to make their game the best so people would actually buy it. And some people today still buy other games
And
that
that's the
have
thing.
MLB players and MLB likeness in it. So they're still competing. So they still have to make the best game every single year.
Exactly. So that's the difference. But watch, once they get a chokehold on that industry, don't be surprised when all of a sudden
True. The
the
quality
game
is
gets
gonna be
bad.
lower, yeah.
The game's gonna get bad, and they're gonna be making money because I'm sure they have some type of their own ultimate team type thing. Every sports game has it
Diamond
because it's just
right?
it's a money generator. That's why 2K every year everybody's talking about how much worse it is in the last. Oh, this is the worst one ever. Because realistically, the communities that play these games are full of liars. Like I just said with myself, everyone says they hate the game, but people still are going to spend money on it, and they're going to keep bumping up the prices until people just say we're not doing it anymore
Probably
on such a mass level.
Their most 2K's most popular streamer is Flight Reacts, and all he
Yeah.
does is rages, and he plays the game the next night.
Yeah, that's just what
I like Flight though. He's an entertainment guy. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
he makes his money off the raging.
Yeah, it's an entertainment thing with that. But even still, it is still a good reflection when every content creator you see on any of these games talks about how bad they are all the time. Unless they're getting paid by the company, there's always those people who have deals with 2K, and at that point, it's a bag. I cannot talk about how bad the game is on camera for a bag, but the communities, they don't have to listen to them as long as when they go to the people who like when they go to the NBA, when they go to the people who produce the games, all those different people, all the people at the top, and they show the money and the dollar signs are continuing to go up, those charts are continuing to go up, why would we ever put in more effort? If you're going to accept mediocrity, it's the same thing. So many industries are like that right now: music, clothes, shoes, games. So much stuff is getting like that to where we're so fine with accepting mediocrity. Why would we do something better? If you can take the easy route and make this much money, it's a money glitch at that point. Like, why would we do better? They don't care about the game; they care about the money, and that's
Not
where
to
games are falling off.
That's America.
not to make anybody angry if you guys are fans of her, but like for example, Taylor Swift. She just released a new album.
Yeah.
7 songs in the top 10. I don't care who you are, unless your name is Michael Jackson, Prince, or somebody like that. Taylor Swift does not deserve 7 songs, but people are willing to just make her songs the best because of her name. And that's what we're doing with 2K, that's what we're doing with Madden. Because of the name, up there.
Yeah, at this point, name holds more weight than quality and many things. Same with the shoe industry. Jordan can release the same shoe and call it something. They can release the same red one and call it one time called strawberry, one time called cherry. It can look exactly the same, and people will buy it for $1,000 and resell it and do all that other stuff and hype it up until it dies again. That's just what all these industries are. It's just.
That. I mean,
And if people find it, why would you stop? If I'm 2K, if I'm Madden, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, I can copy and paste the game, add like a slight little difference that everybody's gonna hate, and then change things up later. They're not even releasing full games. Like, I was still young, but you guys are older than I am, not by like a whole lot. But back in the day, you buy a game, like you're downloading the game onto your stuff or whatever it is. It's a full game. Like, there's not a bunch of random updates coming out. They're not fixing the game as the game's going on. It's a full finished game. Nowadays, they're copy and pasting stuff and it's not even done. They got to do like 5 different patches for it to become playable and tolerable, and for it to still be bad. They're fixing the game as it goes on and not even fully fixing it. And people are buying, and they're making more money than ever.
Yep.
Why would you change? Why would you ever change?
Plus, the sad part about it is when you talk about NFL and the NBA and NHL and FIFA and all that, the game in which it's the complete game is when the season is over. That's the sad part about it is the completed game is supposed to be when it comes out. And it changed to that now, because now we can have an incomplete game, but as long as we keep updating it and all that stuff, we're fine.
We should get moving on though, because I only got 40 minutes left until I gotta go.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and move forward. Up next, we have the. Hold up. All right, coaches on the hot seat.
Whoever the Jets head coach is, I don't know who he is, but
Robert Sly.
He better get ready to get blamed for every mistake that Aaron Rodgers makes, every mistake that his receivers make. Every mistake is going to be his fault, and you're ready for it.
Yeah, maybe. Coaches on the hot seat for me, Matt LaFleur.
Ooh.
Matt LaFleur. This is your first season without a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now it is up to you to develop your own guy. This is your made man. Almost every legendary quarterback has created their own made man at quarterback. You got Bill Belichick with Brady. You got Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes. You have Bill Walsh with Joe Montana and Steve Young. You have
Sean Payton. Sean Payton.
Brees. You have what else? Hell, John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson.
Who was Dan Marino's coach? What was that guy's name?
Don
Can't think of his name.
Don Shula.
There you go.
Don Shula. This is your time. You gotta make your quarterback, because remember, you traded up to get him. and you
Mm.
passed on receivers
Mhm.
just to get
Oh my
him.
god, we're such a bad franchise.
You, the pressure's on you, sir, and I believe that the trading up was your decision before. This wasn't Gutekunst. You recommended that, so you got to make Jordan Love. If Jordan Love does not look now, see, you're gonna have a 2 year. I'm giving you a 2 year window because you probably just can't be great out the gate unless if you are Patrick Mahomes. But you better show us why he was worth trading up to get and nearly forcing Aaron Rodgers out the door.
Should we for this? Should we just like go through every team and be like safe or not safe, so to make sure we don't miss anything, miss anybody? Do you want to do that?
Sure, that seems like a good idea.
Okay, so you want to start in the NFC East?
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
Not
That
safe.
seat's hot,
Hot.
steaming.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say for mine. I was gonna say, yeah. Have they won a playoff game since he's been there? Maybe I'm forgetting something,
No.
but
He
I don't.
won 2 playoff games. Think so. I think he's won 2 playoff games.
Didn't win one this year.
No, he did win one because they beat Tampa.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they did.
All right.
They did.
Yeah.
But that's a wild card game.
Yes,
I
playoff game,
guess.
but yeah.
I mean, that's still a
Yeah.
play. That's still a playoff
It's a
win.
playoff game. It's a playoff game.
I
Yeah.
mean, you retired Tom Brady, so
I mean, they're talking about. It's our year. We know what the Cowboys' expectations are. We know what we mean.
I mean, they've been saying that for the last 27 years.
I know, and that's why I'm like, he's got to be in the hot seat. There's no way he's not.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if the Cowboys have a mediocre year, Dak's gone, McCarthy's gone,
Dak's
or both of them. Are gone. But one of the two or both of them, one of them gone, no matter what.
One of them definitely
If they go 9-8 or worse, one of them gone. That's what it is.
for sure.
I think they could have a winning season, and they still going to be gone.
It's dependent. It's honestly is dependent on how they fall. That's what it is.
Last year was disgusting. Last year's loss in the
that
playoffs was nasty.
That was hilarious. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Seeing when I saw Zeke line up there as the, I was like, this dude
his
is
final
actually
play at the South.
unserious.
That was his
That-
final play.
Getting absolutely ran over by a 300-pounder.
I was like, what is like? I don't know whose idea that was. That's almost embarrassing. That's like yeah.
And also, don't forget, they fired Kellen Moore, their offensive play caller,
Yeah.
and now Mike McCarthy is going to be the offensive play caller.
Which,
So-
good luck with that, because we about to see some 3rd and 7 checkdowns, 1 yard from scrimmage.
And also be prepared for running back draws on 3rd and 15.
I think McCarthy calling plays will help a little bit with Dak's interception problem.
I actually agree
With the conservative 3rd down, want to go for it. Even like on 2nd and long, we're still going to try to go for 5 yards before we just hand it off on a 3rd and long. So I feel like that will help with the interception numbers. He's still going to throw less picks, but it'll help a little bit.
Yeah, it should help.
All right. Giants.
Oh no, he's safe.
That's
Very
a cold seat.
Yeah,
That is.
Yeah, very, very safe.
Eagles, he's chilling.
Oh,
Yeah,
chilling.
safe.
Commanders, I don't think it matters.
Well, actually,
It depends, 'cause-
it is kind of hot because now you have
They got
Oklahoma.
dude.
You now
Oh,
have
you're right. You're right. Yeah,
So basically, if you don't impress this year, you're most likely.
that's a good point.
So
That's a good point. All right. Bears. Is that just like a happy-go-lucky fan base at this point, or do they think they expect
I don't
something?
even know. I don't even know.
I think the Bears are actually expecting something.
I think if he doesn't do good with developing Justin Fields consistently,
He may be gone.
I mean, Justin Fields can develop himself.
yeah,
Respectfully.
Yeah, but
like-
in terms of hot seat, probably not blazing hot, but I wouldn't say not too cold either.
just like normal, just like
Yeah, normal. Like,
Yeah.
like see how the season plays out.
that's one where it's like right now there's no real opinions on it, but depending on how the season goes,
Yeah.
Lions chilling.
yeah, he's very
Packers,
Dan
already
Campbell.
talked
Dan
about
Campbell,
it.
he's safe right now. Yeah.
Vikings. That could be.
Ah,
Little wins.
no,
You don't think so?
Chilling.
I don't know.
The second year coming off of 13-4 season. I mean,
The thing is, you just got rid of Dalvin Cook, right?
they should
your
be.
running game doesn't improve, that's going to look like a really bad decision by front office slash coaching, and
Honestly,
front office isn't going to take the blame.
I believe Kevin O'Connell wants a aerial attack because you have Justin Jefferson. You just added Jordan
Yeah.
Addison. Hopefully, he doesn't become Henry Ruggs.
And then you got Kirk Cousins
Yep,
throwing that ball about 21 yards on a deep throw,
yep. So
in it out.
they want to
Yeah,
trade on the
I feel
phone.
like he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. Cold seat. He's fine.
Do we think that the entire NFC South is a hot seat?
Tampa,
Because like
yes. New Orleans, yes. Well, New Orleans, kind of, because second year coach.
yeah,
Who else?
Panthers just got a brand new coach.
Panthers got that. So, and it's Frank Reich. So maybe.
And then Falcons, I don't know what their coaching situation is.
Arthur Smith, he's a good coach, even though I hate the way he utilizes Kyle Pitts.
Our fantasy team hates it too. Don't worry.
Honestly, I think he has a good seat. I think the Falcons like what they're seeing from Arthur Smith.
I think the issue with the NFC South is that there are 4 teams there that could win it, but they all suck.
Yep.
So you could be having a bad season, be in contention, and then finish the year bad, and everyone's going to be like mad at you when realistically you shouldn't have had a chance in the first place. But people are going to care more about you being bad because of everyone having a chance in that division. So, and then Cardinals.
New coach, yet again.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no either.
Because of especially what came out with their facility issues in the offseason. You just can't put anything, like everything, on the coach anymore because of all the issues they're having in-house already before he got there. I mean, if they don't improve, I think they could go Caleb Williams fishing in the draft and give up on Kyler Murray. I think the coach will still be there.
Yet again, I don't think they should because I still think Kyler has it in it. But I do have to see him. I have to see his play after the ACL injury. I have to see it.
Do you think that Kyler Murray has any trade value right now?
I believe
Not
he still
really.
does. I think he still does because he is 24, 25 years of age.
I don't think he has enough to make it worth it for the Cardinals. I don't think. I think if you think he's still worth something more to where, like, he could go to the other team and become really good still, versus what the other team will be able to offer him like right now, I don't think he has as much. He definitely has some though.
I mean, I'm looking at, like, could you throw him at a team that just doesn't have a quarterback and just steal 2 defensive players? And that's what you're going to get from him. That's a possibility. And then you're tanking this year, and then you get Caleb Williams in the draft, and then
Yeah, I don't hate the idea. I don't really hate the idea of trading them.
I mean, if you end up in Caleb Williams territory, then you trade him probably. If not,
I love how high you are on.
because you know I'm high on very high. Ben, Zach, almost every college football department member dislikes my love for Caleb, which is fine. Even though
You're winning back-to-back Heisman's for the first time in a good amount of time, so that'd be.
Also, Ben, I could be bringing back the agenda. I could be.
USC is not making the playoffs, Cameron.
We'll see, because eventually we gonna have a college football preview, but we'll see.
Okay, Sean McVay,
Safe.
untouchable. Should know his name, but 49ers coach, I can't think of his name. And safe. And I think Pete Carroll's still safe because he's doing a really good job developing young guys right now. I mean, you can't just take him out of that situation. So that's NFC.
Yep.
AFC. Bills. Safe. Patriots.
Come on.
I think.
Come on.
It's Bill Belichick. Yeah.
The only way he leaves.
He's like Popovich. He's just gonna. Yeah.
That's what I could think could happen, where he's taking himself out of the situation.
Well, then that's not the same though. That's not like saying like he's like unsafe.
Okay. So we're gonna put the Patriots in the hot seat.
Yeah. Yeah. If he wants to go, he could. Yeah, I think he's like
Uh,
Popovich. He's kind of just like that. That when we think of their coaches, it's him.
Yeah,
Dolphins.
safe, definitely safe.
Safe, safe, safe,
I'd
safe.
say if he gets caught vaping on the sideline again, there could be a little bit of an issue. But
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
did you see the interview?
Yeah, I
See
saw it.
the interview in Hard Knocks where he was talked about that.
Yep,
I was, and then Jets. I think that's a hot seat to me, especially with the media. Maybe less with the ownership, but the media is going to be on him
absolutely.
whole season. So best of luck to him. I mean, I'm wishing Aaron Rodgers luck. And obviously needs a good coach to be good. So
I'm not. I hope he does horrible, and I hope the Jets do terrible.
that's not very nice. All right, AFC North. He's, yeah, he's chilling.
Yep, chilling.
Yeah. Bengals, obviously.
Yep.
Burrowhead, my. Anyways, Browns. That's a pretty hot seat.
Uh,
You don't think so?
I probably wouldn't say very hot, but there's an outside chance he does get fired if the
Well-
Browns were to massively disappoint.
I was gonna say like if they win 6 games, I think.
If they
I
win
mean,
6 games, then we're probably gonna hear some talks.
Mike Tomlin, untouchable coach. I'd argue he's the most untouchable coach in the league, other than Andy Reid right now.
Yeah, probably.
How much he's loved.
Yeah, I think Mike Tomlin's also in the because the Steelers don't fire head coaches. That's something they just don't do. They don't do. They've only had
Even if they did, why would they?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The Steelers only had 3 coaches in the last 45 years.
Like Packers with quarterbacks. It's
Right.
keeping it simple.
Mike
Okay.
Tomlin is like one of them all time. Just like
I love Mike Tomlin. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time. Personality wise, play style wise.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus he
Like
has
that.
and plus he has like a little special to me since he's an African American coach as well. So seeing him
Always gonna be
being as
biased.
great,
Yeah.
then yeah. Like him and
But
Tony
yeah.
Dungy, they like this to me. Him and Tony Dungy. So
And of course, he the most importantly, he just wins. I don't know what it is.
Mhm.
He just,
Hey,
he
he-
just
he finds a way to win.
Well,
It's
Mm.
weird.
And one of my favorite clips of all time is when it was like 2016, maybe 2015. Him and Antonio Brown after the touchdown on their knees, going at each other, swinging their arms like this. After they already got a excessive celebration flag, and him just not caring because of how much he a player coach he is,
Yeah.
and like the environment that just shows like how like of a person he is, and then that environment that creates where they're there to win games for
yeah,
him.
Right.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love coaches who loves their players.
Mhm.
Like that's why like Nick Sirianni, Mike McDaniel,
Yeah.
guys of those natures, because they love their roster too, and they are all about building relationships with them, which I love.
I do too. Great personality in the game. What do you think about Texans? That's
Oh, DeMeco Ryan, another African American coach. Honestly, he should not be, but for some reason, I do believe if the Texans were to win 5 or less games, he's getting fired.
I just don't think that's fair to him though.
It's not
I mean-
fair, but that's how the Texans roll.
That's true.
Because they shouldn't have, because they should not have fired Lovie Smith last year.
Yeah, I'll give you that because of how bad their roster was. I'll give you that.
And plus, the reason why they fired him is because he won the final game of the year, which took him out the number spot.
But I'm thinking
That's petty, but I respect it though.
I bet you got a brand new quarterback, brand new coach. I think if you keep them both on and you just say we're going to commit to both of you for the next 5 years, do something. You build something there where they're going to be competing, and those guys are going to have one of the strong relationships in the NFL. The Reed Patrick Mahomes relationship. Obviously, they won't be as good. I mean, most likely won't be as good. Could be, but if you can build that type of relationship in a program, I mean that's something you want.
Yeah,
But I
but
think
again,
you have your leash.
but the Texans, now that Daniel Snyder is gone, they have
Mm-hmm.
the most dysfunctional organization in football.
Cardinals got to be worse still.
Cardinals, maybe, but the Texans' politics, a lot of
Yeah,
it.
that's true. That's true.
Because I pay attention closely to the Texans. Whew, it's bad.
It's bad. All right, we're looking at Colts now.
Yep.
A new coach.
New coach, Eagles
New
offensive
coach.
coordinator from last year. I think he's gonna have a good year. Now, I don't think the Colts will win the division, or exactly the win-loss record might not say it, But I think you'll see something out of Anthony Richardson that you said, "Oh, this our franchise guy," and you're gonna see like signs of like, "Oh, I see where we going with this," and they have
Jaguars,
safe,
Save.
and then Titans. What are we thinking?
oh, safe.
You think safe still?
The Titans love Mike Vrabel. He's one of the best coaches in football. They love.
I love him too, but I mean, there's a point in time where you got to say what you're doing isn't working. So either change it or we're going to change you.
With that roster, what does Mike Vrabel have to work with?
Yeah,
that is
that's one of those
That
things.
roster is bad, and that roster was bad last year, and they still was in the playoff hunt.
Well, the problem is they're just Derrick Henry is going to make them competitive enough that they will not be able to draft a quarterback
that's the
replacement
problem.
that's going to be ready.
Yeah.
And so they're stuck with Tannehill until Derrick Henry gone or until they commit to a rebuild year.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
now you just got two quarterbacks. You got Will Levis and Malik Willis still there.
And
But now
and
here's the thing. I think we're about to head into a very stacked quarterback draft class this year. You have Caleb at the top of the draft. You gotta have Drake May. Michael Penix Jr. is gonna most likely come out. Cameron Ward's coming out. Shooter Sanders' draft stock's gonna go down because Colorado, the trenches are not good over there. So, I mean, it is a very good quarterback draft class if they want to go in the direction of quarterback again. But we'll see.
all right, and then moving on to probably one of the safer divisions at Broncos.
Safe.
Safe. Andy Reid.
Safe
Another
is-
untouchable.
Raiders are the only one, in my opinion, in the division that you could have a chance at.
Two.
You think the Chargers? I mean,
The hottest seat.
do you think that's
Blowing that lead is crazy.
Brandon
Blowing that lead is
Staley?
crazy. Blowing that lead is crazy. He should have been gone.
my thing is? I mean, the Chargers' expectations every year are so mediocre because of
It doesn't even
who
matter
they
about
play
that. That
against.
game alone, if I was up to
I don't care.
that is a flagrantly bad loss. That is like
And plus, not only that, I remember week 18, you idiotically played your starters, and then Mike Williams got injured, and he couldn't play that wild card round. You can't tell me Mike Williams doesn't make an impact last on the wild card game.
I mean, yes.
yeah, nah. He gotta go. He gotta go.
He better win a playoff game. That's the only way for him to make it. He got to win a playoff game.
You think he's got to win a playoff game?
Must.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Then he's definitely gone.
Yeah.
So you're saying if they go 10-7 or 11-6 and miss the playoffs, you think he's still gone?
Yes. I don't care.
Yes.
You gotta find
Yeah.
a way to make it. Justin Herbert is your quarterback. You have to be able to make it.
All right, so we're not blaming Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is
If Justin Herbert has reason to blame, I will blame him. But think about this: the Los Angeles Chargers, since Justin Herbert has entered the league, has scored the third most points in the league,
and given up
and
like
given up the third most as well.
third least.
Third
Least.
least.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's least. That's why that stat was so unbelievable.
No, they said the Chargers have given
Is it
up
most?
the third most.
Oh, okay. That's on me then.
And the Chargers have scored the third most.
Yeah.
Explosive offense, terrible defense.
Here, my thing, when I watched 2 Chargers games last year. Not a lot, but they didn't get a lot of primetime games, and it's tough to watch them. But I watched 2 games, and both of them, from what I saw, and I'd never played football. I don't know a lot about it. I know a good amount of players. I know some stats, but Herbert was making really risky decisions where it's like throwing the ball up there to guys that aren't throw the ball up there type of guys.
Do you remember those 2 games? Because I've watched almost every Charger game.
I do not. I just remember watching the game and I'm talking to like Bryce and them about like what is he doing? Like there were some questionable decisions where like he's not taking checkdowns to throw the ball, like where the guy might be open, but there's a covering safety where he's working over.
I don't know what
Does he?
that is.
Does he take checkdowns too much?
Yes, Justin.
There was a Monday night game.
I'm gonna say like this is one where I can say Austin Eckler. I had him in one of my fantasy teams, so I was definitely watching Chargers again. And like they definitely. I don't know Justin Herbert. Maybe you saw something that I just missed or something. I don't have like I was watching like every game that happened every week, so
I
I couldn't. I don't have a laser focus memory
Mhm.
on everything, but I don't remember like
Like,
him
there was just,
ever
I remember,
missing a check down. He
no
would take them all the time.
because Justin Herbert, I believe, took the most checkdowns among any quarterback in football last year. Either did
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
Le'Veon
Austin
Bell.
Eckler, the check down demon. Yeah,
I was, I remember watching. I think it was a Monday night game. I'm not positive. I remember him throwing, like, they were doing like a 3 minute drill, like a little extra time, and I remember him just like pounding the ball, trying to get it up on the sideline to the same guy, and it just wasn't working, and they refused to throw the ball in the middle of the field, even though they had time, and the announcers were on his Booting because of it.
Was that the Broncos game?
It might have been. Actually, it probably was. I think.
Yeah, it probably was because that was one. Because that was a brutal game to watch.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was a
And that's, I
brutal.
remember it being just absolute awful.
Yeah, that was brutal. Because
yeah.
Yeah,
another
it probably was a brutal game.
because another primetime game that I think you might have watched was the Dolphins versus Chargers. That's probably another one you might have watched.
Yeah.
Because that's a game where he kind of got away from the checkdowns a little bit. But yeah,
I
but
must, I must have just seen some bad games there.
yeah,
But
you probably witnessed two of them. But there was a game where Justin Herbert attempted like 54 passes and still didn't get over 300. So, I mean, and the reason for that is because his offensive coordinator loves checkdowns. Joe Lombardi, Vince Lombardi's grandson, by the way, um, he loves checkdowns like ridiculously, and a lot of that because like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, they've dealt with injuries throughout the whole year too. So that's really had that you all have to depend on. But Justin Herbert works best when he's threading the needle and throwing the ball downfield, and that's what I'm not getting. That's what I did not get. So Brandon Staley's on the hottest of seats, probably with him. If if he don't deliver, Brandon Staley got to go.
just getting him out right away, just gone.
Get him out. Get him
All
out.
right.
He got to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And that's all of them. We just went through every team. So.
Yeah. So we just named about 7, 8 coaches on the hot seat, maybe.
But here's my question: are we ever going to get to a time where there aren't going to be better coaches available? Does that make sense? There are coaches that are like moving on. Like, there are older guys that are like done from football. So that means we're hiring new talent, younger guys that haven't proven themselves. So there going to be a point where, I mean, your coach might not be the best, but are you willing to fire him and take a risk with something else?
Honestly, with the Kyle Shanahan tree, it's never going to get that way.
All right.
It's never going to get that way. It's going to be the Kyle Shanahan tree, the
Andy Reid,
tree, the
Bill Belichick,
the Sean McVay tree.
Gretzky.
I mean, that's really the three that they're going to go on because a lot of these teams are going to go for more RPO based offenses, West Coast offenses, and like more vertical offenses. Like, you're not going to see more smash mouth type of
Yeah.
systems like Mike Vrabel's type systems or Mike Tomlin's degree. Like, you're not going to see that really. And also Nick Sirianni, he's already built the tree. Like, I mean, his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator this year is already head coaches.
Yeah. And then what's his face? I think he's with Washington right now. Eric Bieniemy. He just left over. People
Actually,
want him to be a head coach.
he
People
should
saying he
be.
has.
He should have been a head coach, but a lot of people have reservations about you being.
Yeah, because you're behind Andy Reid. I get that. But yeah, so I feel like
Matt
there's a
Nagy got a head coaching job over there.
it's whatever. But I think
Okay, Brandon, I gotta go.
yeah.
So thank you for having me on. Yeah, 1:15 was my cutoff. So thank you for having me. I hope I didn't provide too much BS, but have a good day. Good luck with the last section.
All right, we'll see you, Ben.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so what you were saying, Mason?
I just wrapping up my statement. Clothing and whatnot will definitely be good. So I feel like we'll be in a good space for a while.
Yeah, that should be the case for sure. So moving forward to our last segment here, Who's the most disrespected player in the NFL?
In what sense? Like it's not deserved or it's deserved?
Um, really undeserved.
Well, regardless, I think the answer is probably really easy. Um, and I think it's and is it what are we basing off the court things or play? So I think I'm not, and I keep saying off the court, off the field. Like
Honestly, you could tie it into both. Really.
I mean, the easiest one would be Deshaun Watson, like without overthinking things at all.
Yeah, but it's deserved.
Okay, so we're saying
Yeah,
undeserved
like kind
then.
of like undeserved.
Okay, like underrated type
Yeah,
situation.
underrated type thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, hmm. This is actually really tough
It is a tough question.
because I feel like one thing the NFL doesn't do really bad with is really overrating or underrating players that aren't on the Cowboys.
That is true.
Like
That
I
is
feel
true.
like compared to the NBA, which is the other league that I consume a lot of media of,
Uh huh.
since it's much harder to get like a bunch of individual, it's harder to be a fan of an individual in the NFL that isn't a quarterback.
Hmm.
So with that being said, like underrated players, I guess I'd say like off the top of my head, and I'm gonna listen to your answer. Maybe something else will come to me. I guess Lamar Jackson, maybe.
Hmm.
I feel like there's lots of people who try to argue that he's not a legitimate quarterback.
Uh
Obviously, there's
huh.
gonna be the trolls with the running back stuff, but there's people who still like just don't think he's like an elite quarterback, especially like as far as arm talent goes. He like I've watched Raven games. He can make really good throws. I don't know like people. Of course, people are always gonna have their perception in their head because he's a running quarterback and it's a new style. People aren't used to that. It's whatever. But people who think he can't pass, like pocket pass or anything, like he can and he can do it very well. You're not gonna get that far just like only being able to run. He wouldn't have an MVP, all these other things if he wasn't able to throw the ball. I think he gets heavily disrespected, heavily discredited all the time. And as someone who's not even like a huge Lamar Jackson fan, just from like the outside looking in, it always surprises me how many people just think he's not good.
Hmm.
Well, not even saying he's like bad, but it's like not like an elite like up there. Like I said, we have him in the Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers type tier.
Yeah.
Some people have him like lower than that, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have Lamar top seven. I have him top
Hmm.
seven.
Yeah.
Lamar is very disrespected to a degree. I do have some a little bit reservations because he has shown that he can make those throws, but
Hmm.
but what I want to see is him be a little more consistent with it. And plus, he has a little bit of problems of like finishing the season injury free.
Yeah.
Um, Also, he does have a little bit of a postseason problem. He's really only had one playoff game in which I was impressed by, which was his win against Tennessee. Um,
Hmm.
like his first playoff game against Tennessee wasn't that great. Was the number one seed that year, unanimous MVP, underwhelming against the Bills, underwhelming. He's had some playoff games that given you like, come on now, you're better than that. But
Yeah.
he's very disrespectful in a sense. But a player who I believe is actually disrespected really, and it really started in 2020. Believe it or not, Aaron Rodgers.
Hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with the off the field stuff.
Shenanigans. Oh yeah. Yeah.
The the I'm not vaccinated, I'm immunized thing. Uh, of course, his thing about drugs. I forgot what drug that it was.
I'm just doing like it's gonna come back to me.
Yep,
Some
some.
type of shrooms or some hallucinogen
Yeah,
type
it
things.
was something like that. Um,
But okay,
also,
but here's my question with that.
mhm.
I don't think people disrespect his game with that. I think they just disrespect him as a person.
Well, really, yeah, but like
Because besides last year, how can you disrespect him? Because he
actually,
was like,
when I have paid attention to like the media and really with the local media too, because that's where it got bad at. They
oh,
were,
saying they want him
yeah,
gone.
also some of that weird, really, some of that used the off the field to kind of to cloud their judgment on what they see
Yeah,
on the field.
yeah,
So
this is true.
basically, what they're waiting for, because he's created all that drama, they're waiting on one bad game to say, get him out of here.
Yep,
Overrated.
yep,
All of that good stuff.
yeah.
And I'm really seeing it now with some of these Packer fans who are just acting incredibly ungrateful because of
Mm-hmm.
like the last 3 years, really. Do you know how much this man has carried us from mediocrity from 2000, really, since our Super Bowl year till
Mm-hmm.
the final year now?
Yeah,
No,
I think I think honestly, the Packers fans at this point are probably like I'm trying to think what type of probably are like Golden State fans to an extent, or just like
mm,
on a lesser extent. Where as a Packers fan, like for me, for example, I was born in 2006. I
mm-hmm,
didn't really start watching sports until like I think I vaguely remember. But I was like four, like when the Packers won the Super Bowl, or like
yeah,
lower.
yeah,
But I vaguely remember being in a basement watching it. But my whole life, I think I've only seen the Packers miss the playoffs to when I've been keeping up with it. Maybe two times off the top of my head.
yeah, yeah.
I may be
So
having it wrong.
yeah, so I was born in 2004 because we were both born in the later years of the Brett Favre
Hmm.
era. So
Yeah.
and plus, I mean, I was 3 years old when Brett Favre's final year, but I do remember all the drama that Favre was costing us, and it was worse than Aaron.
Hmm.
So what I've seen about that, I believe in my years the Packers have only missed the playoffs like 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
So honestly, one bit. So like you said with Golden State, 1 year it seems like we're not it. We
Hmm.
overreact a lot.
Exactly. Because that's my thing. I feel like we've become super. Because think about like the NFL is one of the leagues with the most parity each year. Like each
Mm-hmm.
year, like it's in the NBA, you can kind of guess what teams are going to be there.
Yeah.
In other sports, from what I've heard, I don't keep up with anything really but the NFL and the NBA for real. But I know between those two, it's not a comparison. The NFL, like the fluctuation of what teams can go up and go down each and every on a year to year basis, it can be completely different. You can just not know. Like
Right.
there's not a lot of like three P. Like that's why Tom Brady type situations is like
Mm-hmm.
crazy because it's like that doesn't happen. So for the Packers to consistently like always be at least in the playoffs, there's teams like the Bears and stuff like that. They cannot say that's like Lions fans, Bears
Right.
fans, Jets fans. They don't get that same luxury of being like every year as a Packers fan, I know we're at least not going to be horrible. I haven't had to see a year of us like tanking. Besides that one year where like Aaron Rodgers was like injured, even so we weren't
Yeah.
super
I mean,
horrible.
even when Aaron Rodgers was like injured, we were still in the playoff hunt. We
Exactly.
were
There's some teams like the season starts and we just know they're not like in the hunt. Like they're just
exactly.
not in the conversation. The Packers, that's never in my lifetime. It's never happened. For some older people, like my dad talks about the Packers being really bad when he was younger. That's possible, but even still, it's easy for a lot of people to get blinded by the fact that for like at least the past 10 years, the Packers have been a locked playoff spot, like a locked playoff spot, and for like the past like 5 years, a locked like Super Bowl contender. Like people like when Devontae Adams was still here before he left. Every year, people were saying like the Packers have a chance at winning. Like that was always it. We were always in that conversation.
Right.
So when you get a season where it's like, oh, we missed the playoffs. Oh no. Like they're going to freak out, and now they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, like get Aaron Rodgers out of here, burn him at the stake." So like I definitely understand what you're saying. I actually agree with that. That was one of the other people I was thinking about.
Yeah. Um, but actually, in terms of like production on the field, disrespected players you can point to probably a Kirk Cousins maybe.
Mm.
Um,
Is he disrespected or just super? Because I feel like there's a difference between underrated. He's underappreciated, I'll say, but I don't think
yeah,
there's like a bunch of people just like hate him or just like think he's
I
like.
mean, there's some people who
There's
actually believe
some.
Kirk Cousins is average, and that's just not true.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. Not like great. He's not gonna be like up there, but like he's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
Like you would
like
take
he's not an
him.
elevator, but
Yeah,
he's
but he's
good
not gonna make your team at all
efficiency.
worse. He's gonna be if you get the right pieces around him, he can you can win with Kirk Cousins. You can
Right.
win with him.
I mean, it has been proven he's won the division title. I think he's won two already. He won a
Yeah.
playoff game. He's beat Drew Brees in a playoff game. So
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah. But I want to say I don't see any real Kirk. I see like little memes and like jokes and stuff,
yeah, there's
but I
memes,
don't think it's anything like serious
there's also like
disrespect.
some media members who just flat out disrespect them. So
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
yeah,
So yeah, I can see that. I can see that pick. I can see that pick. I'm trying to think if there's somebody else that I'm thinking of.
yeah, there's Kirk Cousins that gets
Definitely
disrespected.
no underrated people. Because when I think
So
about underrated,
Kyler Murray's up there.
oh Kyler Murray. I
Kyler.
don't know. That's a easy overlook. I don't know how we overlooked that. We literally talked about it earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah, Kyler Murray is heavily disrespected.
I think he may be the most underrated quarterback in football right as of right now.
If not the most underrated player. I don't think
If
I don't
not, if not. So
I can't think of a player more underrated.
yeah, in terms of like media perception and fan outlook,
Like there's a large group of people who think he
there's
sucks
people
or
who
just
believe that Kyler
average
is
or like
terrible, and that's just
yeah.
not true.
You watch him
Like you
at
watch
some
him,
point. eh,
what about him that says he's average?
Yeah,
I don't get
his
it.
ability to extend plays.
Right?
The only people I could say is like better than that
There's
is like
Mahomes,
Patrick Mahomes and like maybe like
Lamar, Josh
Lamar. Yeah,
Allen.
Josh Allen. But who are those people? Like top
Those are
10,
top five,
like
top six
top.
quarterbacks.
So when you have in play extension to that extent, like to that elite level, that is so undervalued. I think like if you just don't pay attention, that there's one specific play that's in my mind with Kyler Murray. I forget if it was a 2 point conversion or something
Yeah,
over there,
I remember
but
it.
like he was running around
He
forever
won
and
out
he still
forever.
made
He
it
still
work.
got it. And that was last year against it was last year against the Raiders, I think. It was last
Yeah,
year against the Raiders.
yeah, because I saw that everywhere, but people still like that episode. I'm like, at some point, I'm one of those people in every sport where it's like, okay, stats definitely matter, wins definitely matter, but at some point you gotta look at a player and just look at how they play and be like, I can add context to these things. I can look at the Cardinals and see they are a poverty franchise.
They are
Anybody with
awful.
half a brain, the only person I think that can make that team like look even slightly good is like a Patrick Mahomes if he was there.
Yeah.
And now they lost D Hop, so it's gonna get worse.
Hmm.
But like Kyler Murray, he's in a horrible situation. Then he got injured,
I mean,
and then it's
everything's
like
bad about Arizona. Even their
like there's
uniforms is bad.
yeah, there's literally nothing good about that team. But for him to still be able to do the things he does, even like when you see those flashes of elite quarterback, and you imagine him on a different team, something like that, there's no way you think he would go to a different team and just like be like even like a Kirk Cousins. And I think he definitely has potential on a good team to definitely be like top 10. I can see that. I think like Dak Prescott level, definitely I can see that. Like being like
Honestly,
bottom top 10
it
argument at
has
the
to
very least.
be
I can see that.
in my opinion. I think Kyler is better than Dak.
I do too. I do too. I'm
Because
saying like there's people who think he's not.
Kyler has something that's special about him.
Yes.
There's not really much special about Dak. I mean, Dak is a very great pocket passer, but in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest moments, I have not seen him showing up. And
Yeah.
there's just something missing about him where he's just not, he ain't it. He's just
Yeah.
not it. I see something about Kyler that says that's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. His scrambling and his like his ability to elongate a play and just give his receivers time to work with and just like drag out a play and find something to work. And he can throw pretty well.
Hmm.
He's a smaller guy, so Like he doesn't have the biggest cannon on him, but
Like
he
it,
can still throw pretty well.
and also, here's my thing. You
Mhm.
know that the Cardinals know you inherited a 5'8" quarterback.
Yeah,
Your first priority should be offensive line every offseason to me.
yeah. I don't. It's just a poverty franchise, and you can't expect a player to be like. I don't know what they want from him. I really don't. What do they want? Like him to make the playoffs? Or something? Like what do they expect
There's legit no way for
from?
him to make the postseason with this roster.
Like I literally don't think it's possible. And it's no offense to him. It's no offense to like anybody on that team. It's just
The
not.
team is not good.
It's just it's just a bad. It's just like a really bad team. And I'm glad they finally got rid of D Hop because they just need to blow it all up. They just need to get rid of.
Yeah,
They just need to
I think that's
press
what
the reset
I
button.
think that's what they're doing now.
Yeah, and I like that. But I don't know what expectations people even have for like what do they want from him? What are they expecting
I
to
don't know.
see?
The only thing that you can hope for Kyler is that he still looks good after the ACL injury. That's the only
Yeah,
thing you can hope. But in
because I'm
terms
trying
of
to think.
extended expectations, what do you want from him? There's
Yeah,
I don't think there's no way
I
for
don't
him
know.
to like there's no way for him to elevate this team. This team is bad, bro.
Yeah, he if he elevated this team even like if he was able to get that team to 8 wins,
If he gets that team to 8 win,
that's like
that's almost an MVP level year.
yes,
I'm
like
sorry.
I think people don't understand. I think people don't take that into account when they're looking at how like what's going on. Like, because I rarely like what does he necessarily do that's so bad that people like harp on?
Uh,
Because maybe I'm just a casual and I'm not like paying hyper attention to what
I,
he's doing.
it's the height and the fact that he plays Call of Duty. That's what it is. That has
Because
to be what it
those are the
is.
I've never seen like an actual real criticism of like maybe I'm just not in the right circles. That could just be my timeline, my media intake. It's possible, and I could go out and look for maybe somebody who did a real breakdown of what Kyler Murray is doing to be so horrible.
Yeah, but here's the
But
thing.
besides just the jokes about him, like not like studying and whatnot, his playbooks and whatnot,
Yeah,
and then him being short, which is a bio. What do you want him to do? Grow? He's like what?
but I don't.
What does he do wrong? I don't know. I haven't seen anything. Maybe I'm just uneducated.
I think so. I think they're seeing something that we're not. Because I swear I see the same games as these general managers and the fans and the media members. I don't know what we're missing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
can't
know.
point to a
I'm
time where
not
like
good at it.
I can't point to a time where it was like Kyler Murray super messed up. I can point to times where he set like made a crazy play out of absolutely nothing because his wide receivers are getting no separation,
Right.
but that extra like 10 seconds he manages to add by running in circles in the backfield as a small player running around like that. First off, with that small of a frame, like he's sacrificing his body. That's where he got injured and those type of things. Like I see those things. So I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he's throwing a bunch of interceptions. Maybe he's just throwing a bunch of incompletions. And I'm just not. That I'm just missing.
I mean,
And that could be me. I could just be a casual.
I mean,
I could be a casual.
his turnover worthy rate ain't even high. I don't. I don't
Who
see it.
knows? Yeah.
I
For people to think he's just like a bad quarter, I don't see it.
I think I have to add Kyler Murray Tate to my agenda because I need to see what they're seeing.
That yeah, that's possible.
I got to see it.
I just got to be in the wrong circles of haters because all I ever see is haha Call of Duty, haha short.
Right.
And at that point, it's like okay, like, but what about when he's on the field? Is he like
He's one of the most
messing up?
dynamic playmakers among the quarterback position. I don't get it.
Yeah, I could just be missing something.
Yeah. Is there like any other disrespected players that come to mind?
Compared to Kyler Murray off the top of my head, I don't think
Probably
anybody is
not.
like,
Probably not. Cause
yeah, I can't think of anybody who's on that level of disrespect, like close to it.
right.
He gets such a, and it's not even like he has a weird personality. I don't even know what his personality is
I
off the
mean,
top of my head. I don't remember see it, but
people
like,
does have a problem because Kyler is expressive on the field, and people
mm,
don't like that.
yeah,
Even though Tom Brady is the exact same way, that
but he's their goat.
he's their
It's
goat.
yeah. It's whatever. Kyler Murray to me is just an example of how in any sport, in any really area of life, at the end of the day, the fans control the narratives, the media controls these things. The a joke that can be taken that serious can change everyone's perspective on you.
Yeah.
Because but best believe these owners somehow they're hearing about these things because that's how he got that contract where he was like had to do a certain amount of studying of the playbook and stuff like that. Like those things are actually affecting him in like his career in real life. These jokes
Right.
that people make that just starts off as haha he plays Call of Duty. Now like you really get that going. Now other teams are looking at you like okay he's not
He's
serious.
not
That
serious.
can really affect somebody's like livelihood and their job and their real their real perception and it
Right.
warps what they're actually producing. I'm not even saying he's producing something like super crazy, but he's not a bum. And you can watch the game and see he like the conversations he's put in, like even a Kirk Cousins cannot do what he does.
Mhm.
This is the bit when you have a quarterback that can extend a play like that, like a Justin Fields, all those type of people, like that is a crazy skill that a quarterback and that is a heavily valuable skill. So just off that alone, being a top tier playmaker, I don't see how you call him trash. But
Yeah.
once again, maybe I'm just a casual.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I really can't think of any disrespected player on that level.
Mm,
I can't really.
yeah, unless it's just like completely off the field stuff, and like Deshaun Watson, that's deserved.
Hmm.
So like on an undeserving level, there's literally nobody I can think of who comes close.
Yeah. Also, that shows a lot on how NFL media is a lot better than the NBA media. Because
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
see, the NFL media is full of players, former players, or
hmm
students of the game who loves football.
yeah,
The NBA media is a bunch of former players and journalists who love the drama.
yeah. Because I
That's
was
what
just
that
about to
is.
say more than that, like the NBA, even with like the face of the, because realistically, there's a face of the NFL. Like you could say Patrick Mahomes is the face of the NFL,
Yeah.
but it's not on the same
Level as the
type of
NBA.
vibe as like the NBA. Like that's not always talk. Like think about the NFL MVP versus the NBA MVP.
Yeah.
Like there's discussion about it, but it's
Hmm.
not like a huge craze. Like they're not doing a weekly, like at least not that I'm consistently seeing. Like weekly re changing. Oh, who are you voting for? Who's this? Who's that? Blah blah blah. All constant debate. It's not. It's a lot more like actual like analytical,
Hmm.
watching the game, really seeing what's going on, trying to like get to the real nitty gritty of things. Whereas the NBA, they monetize individuals more than they do teams.
Hmm.
The NFL is more so team based monetization.
Right.
With like obviously there's you're gonna end up liking players, you're gonna know the best players and whatnot. But it's more so team based and like actual on the field stuff. Whereas like could you tell me what Patrick Mahomes is doing right now besides like the golf thing that just went on not too long ago? I forget if he participated in that. But like those type of things, if it's not like a big event, what did Patrick Mahomes just do yesterday? But
Nothing.
I bet Skip Bayless could tell me what John Morant was just doing.
Ah.
Those type of things. The way the media portrays the NFL, and I like it way more because it allows for real discussion, a lot less bias. People are biased to teams and not just players. I feel like there's a lot less bandwagoning in the NFL, at least not as flagrant
Yeah.
and like jumping from team to team. It's a lot less toxic to talk about like player comparisons. I definitely like NFL media way more than NBA media.
Yeah.
Can I admit that the drama's funny sometimes in the NBA? Sure,
Absolutely. Absolutely. For
sure,
sure.
yeah. Everybody indulges in their fair share of drama every once
Yeah.
in a while.
Absolutely. But like,
But when you want to have an actual conversation in the NFL, it's much better. There's not a lot of players that just get slandered or just
right.
that type of thing, unless they're just actually playing bad. Like last year, Russell. Oh, I guess I can say Russell Wilson, but that's kind of deserved. He played
Yeah. He played
really,
god
really bad.
awful. So.
Yeah, he played god awful. Like that. So I get, but Jared Goff last year wasn't as bad.
Now Jared Goff was very good last year.
Yeah, Jared Goff. The year before, he was getting slandered like
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, like I guess Russell Wilson, but he actually was like
But it,
playing
it,
super,
it was
super bad.
deserved. It was deserved.
You would think Kyler Murray was playing like Russell Wilson or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Baker Mayfield, but Baker's also
Oh,
playing bad. Like,
way deserved. Way deserved.
yeah, definitely deserved.
Hmm.
Definitely. So yeah, as far as undeserved goes, I think the only player I see get slandered for real is
Probably Kyler
Kyler
Murray.
Murray.
Yeah.
And well, also, honestly, if I'm getting into the real nitty gritty of like how players get slandered,
Hmm.
the only players I really see gets like super slandered, unless they're like acting crazy in the media, like Aaron Rodgers, which is a whole different thing,
Yeah.
is these black Russian quarterbacks. Maybe I'm seeing
Yeah.
something,
Yep. Yep.
but
Yep.
I
You're
think
right. Yep.
because
You're
I
right.
think the NFL was heavily dominated by older white guys, if we're keeping it real,
Hmm.
I think that and the game's changing so much, and like the way that the new faces of the league, like the Justin Jeffersons and whatnot, those are the people, and the Lamar Jacksons, they're bringing up like they bring up that kind of like hood
Hmm.
black like ghetto to them style, like that's what they are because they still act. We're getting these younger people in there who these older white dudes are looking and they're like, okay, I don't like that too much. I'm used to this old like white quarterback sit in the pocket, straight pocket, Drew Brees type quarterback.
Yep.
But now we're getting these Russian quarterbacks, and now we're getting the he's a running back. So like Justin Fields, I'm sure he's about to get his fair share of slander as the
It's
Bears.
already starting for Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Justin
as the
Fields is
Bears
getting
get put
them.
more on the map.
Jalen Hurts is somewhat getting
Yep,
it.
yep. But he
Um,
went to the Super Bowl, so it's kind of
he was
getting
in the
harder
Super
to
Bowl,
slander
so
him.
it's
But
getting a little tough for him. So
if you don't deliver as a black quarterback, it's it gets real rough for you as far as slander and whatnot goes. They are quick to jump on you, very quick,
yeah,
very quick.
I'm very afraid what could happen to Anthony Richardson too.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Yeah.
also there's three black quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks who could be starting. Bryce
Mm-hmm.
Young, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. So, whew,
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm hoping. I always hope that there's not a lot of slander going on. So I'm happy that it's hard to name a bunch of names.
yeah,
But
yeah. I'm really glad that it actually took taking us some thought about this, because at the NBA we could have a whole list within like 3 minutes.
oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
yeah,
Every player in like even like the top 20 range is getting slandered in the NBA.
yeah. Out of almost every player like in that range is all bad, because you got Jokic. Yeah, really
Hmm.
international players too. The Jokic got
Yeah.
his slander. Giannis
Oh yeah.
the running dunk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Joel Embiid a little bit deserved though. Uh,
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, LeBron James, of course. I mean, probably the most slandered athlete of all time.
Yeah. But his fans also probably slander the most as
So,
well.
uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, the NBA is it's a lot more drama than the NFL.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that the NFL discourse can keep things to the sport more so. If you get slandered, it's usually due to your play.
Right. Because people,
So
because
mm,
because it's way better having an NFL discussion than an NBA discussion. Like,
yeah,
like in terms of like when I'm around the friends or like being on the podcast here, I tend to enjoy NFL discussions more than NBA discussions, because
mm,
our NBA discussions are great because they're always heated and we give logic around it and we talk about the game. But when
yeah,
I'm around the general audience, it's just
yeah.
a lot of casual stuff and a lot of slandering and all of that stuff.
That's because I think the NBA is a lot more casual friendly
Yep.
than the NFL. Because you got to think, and I think it's the same probably with like the MLB. Because I can't even like get into that game because it's a slower paced game,
Yep.
and because there's so much going on, like there's so many different positions. You're really paying attention. Like if you get into it, to get into it, you got to really get into it and really learn what's going on.
Hmm.
And by doing that, you're naturally getting smarter about the game. It's harder to just be a super casual. If you're a super casual, then you're a super casual. But even
Right.
still, like just to understand the game of football, you got to understand a lot of what's going on. So at the very least, you have a base level of knowledge. Whereas you could go to a basketball game and just be like, okay, he's putting the ball in the hoop.
Right.
He's good. Like you could just do that. You can't do that really with the NFL because like it's not that simple as just you're gonna score every time. Each play there's like the lineman battles, the quarterbacks doing stuff, wide receivers versus cornerbacks doing stuff. It's a lot going on. So I think naturally, like it's probably a lot less casual discussion. It's a lot less emotional discussion because
Yeah.
the players, like people aren't building heavily attachments to a player.
Yeah.
So they're a lot less emotional. And let's
Yeah.
talking about like a full team,
Yeah. Because
Cowboys fans.
yeah, because NBA discourse, it has a lot to do with individual like connection with
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You,
Rather with NFL, really, even though you can be biased to your team, there's something
mhm,
that some because teams like other people can be watching one other team more than they're watching any other team, so you could learn
mhm.
from one team from another. Whether with the NBA, it's filled with like casual fans and box score watchers.
Yeah.
Because like with the box score watchers, like say for DeAndre Ayton, the casual fan could look like him and say, look at this box score. Oh, it's averaging 17 and 11. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
While the actual people who watch basketball and follow it really well and say,
Mhm.
wait a minute, there's what you need to know. And
And then I also think just with the way that on like the flip side to some extent, the people who try to be extra not casual, we get the people who are Jokic is Raptor. If you look at that, he's one of the
uh,
the best
yeah,
defensive players in the league. Like those type of people.
mm-hmm.
There's also like a subsection that try to prove to everyone that they're not casual, almost to a fault. And the advanced
And
analytics
they get to the
football
real
is getting
advanced
into it,
analytics.
but yeah,
Right.
like then we start getting to all these made up like people making their own analytics, and it's like what are we even using at this point?
At this
And all
point,
these other words and different things like that.
at,
So basketball discourse is just really weird.
it's in a very tough spot. And the sad part about it is, I don't see it improving.
No,
I
it's
don't
just gonna get worse. It's
I,
just gonna get worse with social
because
media.
basketball is just like I said. Basketball discourse is people who love the drama. Football discourse is full
Hmm.
of people who love the sport.
Yep.
That's what it is. Pretty sad.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to close out for one hell of an episode. Got great discussions, some really bold hot takes.
Oh yeah.
Uh, this was very exciting. We do have another podcast episode scheduled for this week. Make sure y'all be on the lookout for that. Also, Friday, be sure to read our second ever newsletter. More details going to be coming out about that. And Mason, got anything to say before we wrap up?
Nah, man. I feel like I basically, hey, it was a 3-man podcast on this one, so I was able to get all my stuff off. I'll just say, hey, not do much on Kyler Murray, man. Give him a chance. Give him a chance.
Right.
Just come on. Let's be fair now.
Exactly. All right, that's going to do it. We will see you later on this week. That's a wrap.